What's wrong? Not enjoying yourself so much anymore? Defend him! To the last man, if that's what it comes to! Aaron must reach the gate! Damn you! You traitors! And as we ride to certain death, we trust our successors to do the same for us! Because my soldiers do not buckle or yield when faced with the cruelty of this world! My soldiers push forward! My soldiers scream out! My soldiers rage!
Hell yeah.
That was
Welcome.
badass. Great
Welcome,
intro.
everyone, to Fictionology, the monthly podcast, stream, whatever you want to call it, that I do here on the channel to specifically talk about one series and one series alone and do a whole deep dive on it because those kinds of things are always fun. I like doing all the anime stuff on the weekend, doing the specific breakdowns and stuff, but it's always a lot of fun as well to just buckle down and talk about a singular series in depth, especially one as big as Attack on Titan. Whether you love it or hate it, you can't deny the fact that this series is just incredibly popular.
Mm-hmm.
Would
you say it's Titanic?
Ha!
I think in terms of anime, definitely. But
I mean, look, it's easily one of the biggest of its generation. I don't know if you can say it's the biggest of all. It's the most important anime of all time. I disagree with that. It definitely had an influence on a lot of people who got into anime, but I digress. Tonight, I'm joined by a couple of people who I'm sure people who have been around the channel quite a bit recognize. We have Roman and Rolo from the Rolo Rome cast. They've been on here in different installments.
Last time I was here was Naruto.
Yeah. Rolo's usually around for Fictionology. And then Muffler Tape, who's joined us for a couple of them recently. And I always appreciate having him around because he's fun to talk to. So,
Tape the homie.
Sorry to ramble on like that and sort of monopolize this, but I wanted to get this going with some quick introductions and talk about just sort of get into it. So, Attack on Titan. To say that it's controversial because of that ending would be putting it lightly. Because I mean, I'm already getting member chats from some people.
Yeah, I saw that.
Biggles is the guy I stream with on Mondays over on his channel. We do a lot of like the anime breakdown and stuff. He is not a fan of Attack on Titan because of the ending.
I've seen Biggles in chats here and there. I don't blame him. I know a lot of people aren't. But one thing I will say is I did not read the manga, so I didn't really have a problem. Did it leave me feeling like I didn't get enough? A little bit. I would have liked a little bit more of what the rest of, the crew, the scouts, what they did. Because it shows them on a boat, and then you get the rest of it during the credits when they all show up to Aaron's grave, and then you see Mikasa and Jean walk up, and then you see Mikasa and Jean walk up with a kid next to him, and I would have liked a little bit more of that to actually see that Mikasa and Jean got married, Mikasa and Jean had a kid. I would have liked to see that. Mm-hmm. What's Rhino up to? What happened to the Azumabito clan? I would have liked a little bit more going on. But, I understand the way that they did it. But
so my thing was Roland and I talked about this on our last podcast, but the thing that I like the ending, but the thing for me, and I think the purpose of it was lost on me because I genuinely thought that Aaron's entire thing was that bro wanted to end war, and then we see at the end of the episode that war was being fought. Like it kind of ruined the whole purpose. I think of his whole undertaking of him doing what he did, and at least in my eyes, he did it all for nothing. That's just my own view.
There
I
are
get
some
why,
interpretations there, as far as that goes. Also, thank you, Jeremy Turner, for the one.
Thank you, Jeremy Turner, because you just gifted me a membership.
Let's see here. I have media
Great
assets.
Pilgrim.
I should use them since. Oh, here we go.
Jeremy Turner, thank you. Yeah, I'll
I'll
stay.
go from another world. Great clips.
I'm catching
yeah.
up on all my friends' channels to try and get my memberships back up now that I have more money. So,
But yeah, as far as the ending of Attack on Titan goes, I actually said this last night on a stream with another guy. One of my biggest hot takes about anime in general is just that Attack on Titan, as far as themes go, is just a more nihilistic rendition of Naruto.
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
both about how human nature breeds conflict, and that in order to overcome that, there's a lot of things you got to do. It's just that Attack on Titan kind of makes it like, well, it was all pointless in the end, whereas Naruto is like, well, there's a way around it. There are some.
Do you guys think that
major
I'm wrong in that view, though?
well, I disagree
Do you
with
guys
you.
think that I'm wrong in my view?
I disagree too, but
I was gonna say I believe that I brought this up on the podcast last Friday, but it was really long, so I'm not entirely sure. I only remember the podcast in stages. But
you didn't fall asleep. Oh wait.
yeah, at the very end. But at least I had Crimson and Grey Pilgrim there to help me, or not Crimson, but I keep doing that.
Caleb, you had Caleb
and Grey Pilgrim, but no, I don't think it was pointless because what he did in the end was make the Eldians the heroes of Earth. So therefore, no one will ever mess with the Eldians again. The euthanization plan actually ended up going through. So there's not going to be any more Titans. There's not going to be any more Eldians. So I would say that the Eldians are now the heroes of the planet. So no one really, like especially that group, like Connie.
The euthanization plan didn't go through because otherwise Mikasa would not have been able to have a child with Jean.
Mikasa's. You're correct. You're correct. So, but. Yeah, you're right.
The only other option for her having a child would be Jean because he was the only person who ever showed any amount of interest in her. Everyone else around her that she's familiar with is an Eldian.
No, you're correct. So I guess the euthanization plan did not go through, but there's also they ended the cycle of Titans in a way. I forget what it was.
No, they didn't.
Did they
I
not?
would say that it's not pointless because Aaron's goal was to allow his friends to live a long, happy life. That was his goal in starting the Rebellion. Yeah. He wanted to make sure there was peace that lasted long enough for everyone to just live out their lives. He succeeded.
It's been a while since I've actually watched the finale.
Aaron is the entire point that the whole loop in Attack on Titan exists.
Yes.
He is the only reason that exists because he keeps just sending it back to himself over and over and over and over again. And it's created basically, he even says so himself at the very end of the series, I've tried everything. Nothing in my memory suggests that there is anything else that I can do.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny you say that because my mom just finished season 3. And you know what? She finished season 3 on her own. She watched the last couple episodes without me. And I'm actually pretty proud of her for that. But she just finished season 3. And the first thing she asked me was, you know what I found really interesting? When that guy with, she's like, I'm having problems with the names. Oh, Grisha. Yeah, when that guy with Grisha on the wall said, do it for Mikasa and Eren. She's like, but he doesn't know who Mikasa and Eren are yet. And I was like, no, Mom, he does not. He does not. Mm-hmm. She's like, what does that mean? And I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen this show. Yeah, that's kind of how I do it. every time she asks me a question, I just say, I don't know. I've never seen this. This is the first time. Because she knows how big of a fan I am of Attack on Titan. And I'm like, I'm not spoiling anything for you.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot there. No, my big the point of sticking for me with the ending, I said my point about like Naruto. The big thing I have, like I talked about this in a couple of other videos, where like when it comes to dark fiction, you need that ray of hope to sort of like keep the series going forward. Attack on Titan has that for the first 3 seasons, and then it feels like it almost turns its back on that and becomes really nihilistic in the 4th.
yeah.
That is one part I didn't like about the 4th season specifically.
Okay, but like what I would say though is that was kind of, I think, the point of season 4 was that it was meant to drain your hope though away.
Well,
That's kind of
I agree with that. And I feel like season 4, the best thing about it was the world building, and how the rest of the world feels about Paradis and the Eldians. I really liked everything with how Eldians in other countries are basically treated like Jewish people during the Holocaust, like they're in internment, or even better yet, the Japanese.
Well,
They're in internment camps. They can't leave the internment camps unless they require to. Like Grisha's sister. When there's like corrupt people that just hate them for being Eldians. Like they are basically the Jews of this world. Like race didn't matter to everybody else, but Eldians were like the lower class because of they were trying to beat them down so that they couldn't ever retake the world. And I found that really interesting. I like that a lot. Also, the fact that, could you imagine, instead of a nuke, it's like, no, we're just going to like yell and a ton of people are just going to turn into Titans and we're going to drop them on you. And then you're all just going to be eaten. Like that's almost scarier than a nuclear bomb. It is scarier than a nuclear bomb because a nuclear bomb is instantaneous. This is, we are dropping literal Titans onto the battlefield. Like,
and your death will be slow and like painful.
Yes, that's insane to me.
Toe jam.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was, I don't know, like I said, with the whole like ray of hope thing, I just didn't like the way it decided to take a turn of, technically speaking, that was the predictable outcome of Attack on Titan. It's written all the way through. Isayama seemed to have that point in mind. As far as like the World War II references, I believe in an interview, Isayama said his inspiration was effectively the stories of American internment camps.
Yeah, it seems very similar.
It was never meant to be anything to do with the Jews, even though you still have Eldian supremacists doing the goose step towards the end of the series,
But the Eldians are also wearing so in that case, yes, the Eldian supremacists on Paradis are basically like Nazis, but the Eldians over there in Marley and where we see them in other places, they all have to wear the armbands. They get different color armbands depending on how good they are or what can happen. Oh, you got to get your gold armband, Rhina. You have to get your gold armband. Like
social credit score.
Yeah, basically. I found that very interesting. But the soldiers that from Marley that actually patrol in that area, they were more like Gestapo, I would say, than like the U.S. military during the internment camps.
Yeah, the thing I would say about it is you can make the World War II comparisons. It's just that they're so scattered across both sides of this conflict that it's really hard to say one equates to the other. Really, you can effectively boil it down to both sides kind of suck once you start thinking.
Oh, no, they do. Yeah, they do.
And like the only good people are the crew of scouts at the very end who are actually trying to.
Isn't that kind of like a parody of life, though? Kind of. That like no side's really good, like it's just evil and lesser evil.
Well, you take that one.
Morality exists. I mean, it just may not be universal, but no, it exists, man. I mean,
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Aaron just did the ultimate thing of going, you know what? You guys all suck. So instead, what I'm going to do is just wipe out most of you so you're terrified of my people.
I think
Well-
what you said, Rolo, would have helped part with the ending. Elaborate a little bit more on what happened with the rest of the scouts who actually went to stop the rumbling. See, like, what happened with their lives a little bit. That would have given a little bit more closure. There's also the fact that I kind of wish they never would have shown that scene of Aaron whining in the memory realm
I
to
agree
Armin.
100%.
I feel like if they would have just like given us like a quick scene of like we saw that he regretted having to do it already. If they would have just let him end on that, like, I'm determined to do this and this is the path I've chosen, and not like whine about it and act like a baby at the end, it probably
I
would
get
have
where
been a
you're
more
coming from,
satisfying
yeah.
ending to me too.
Well, you know what? I kind of see that because the reason that I did not have a problem with that was for the sole point that he was always, for lack of a better term, Aaron was always a bitch.
Yeah,
He was always a whiny bitch.
and an idiot too.
Yes.
A little
Yes.
bit of a sidebar. I hate him. He might be one of the worst protagonists that I've ever had to like suffer through.
Are you serious about that? Okay. Anyway,
I disagree with
nah,
that.
like,
Well, okay,
really disagree.
you don't have the experience with anime that I do.
yeah, I was gonna
So-
say you
Okay,
haven't watched
fair enough.
enough.
You're evoking 100 girlfriend or not 100 girlfriends. Rent a girlfriend to
Rent a
him right now.
girlfriend.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what's happening. You're triggering him. All right.
Roman, have you ever?
You
Have
knew
you
exactly
ever,
where I was going with that
have
one.
you ever seen
Yes.
redo of Healer?
Okay.
But
yeah.
anyway, this like Aaron in that scene he's reverted back to being that child Aaron, and I kind of like it for the fact that, man, if putting myself in those shoes, if I had these memories, I knew this was the only way. I have tried it 1,000 times, and there's no other way that this is going to work. I would be beating myself up senseless that I had to become that villain to destroy most of the world. And the fact that all he really wanted in the end was to be free and to actually live a life. He says it. He goes, I just want to be with Mikasa. I want you around. I want all my friends. But he knows that he has to die, and he knows that they have to kill him. So, yeah, you're going to break down. And the only person he could break down to would be Armin, because everybody else is yelling at him. Like, even John and Connie are trying, like, they're yelling at him, but they're also trying to, like, bring that bit of Aaron back, like that fight in Aaron.
I get it. I genuinely get it. And I kind of agree that seeing the like Aaron's grief over having to
He
do
found
this,
out that he killed his mom.
yeah, is well, he found that out at the end of season 3.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like that.
Either way, seeing that part of it is a good part of the series. It's just the way his character ends on that note feels like it destroys everything that was interesting about him. I don't think he's insufferable. I liked him as a main character, but he is an idiot, and he is a bit of a there are a lot of things wrong with him, but that's kind of the point. Is he is the problem effectively?
Well, that's why Aaron's not my profile picture right now.
I know. I probably I would have chose Ervin, honestly.
The better brother.
Yeah, no, I like Zeke is like one of my favorite characters. I love when Zeke just pops out of the part of the skeleton and he's like, "Yo, Levi, come kill me! Now's the chance! Like, just do it, please!" Like,
Yeah.
Zeke is goated, dude. But even in the beginning, like that whole thing, what happens with Zeke? I mean, dude, that is literally child indoctrination. What they did to Jewish families and things like that. Like that is
A lot of what happens
World War
is
II.
so like messed up, and like just kind of like a sidebar, but like just
Like,
like
turn your
thinking
parents-
about what Roland?
I literally just was saying like he literally turned his parents in to the Gestapo. Like,
Yeah.
it's-
Well, kind of my thing is that like if you want to think about it, like this show and like just like the story, and like I'm not saying this in like a slight against the show, but like it's messed up the fact that like And I'm going back to season 1 here, but like think to yourself, if what you were taught for your whole life, none of it was true. None of it. And like there was something bigger. And then the thing that you thought that you hated, you really didn't hate. But there's nothing but like then you feel like in order to exact justice and revenge, you have to turn into the thing that you once hated. That
So
is something that is insane to me.
it's funny you
Crazy.
say that because he literally has to use the tools of his enemy to defeat his enemy.
Exactly.
Which
Right.
is
That's so cool.
So if Aaron Yeager were to say the speech that Luthen Rael says in Andor, it would work too. Where he goes, I'm condemned. I've made my soul a sunless space. I am condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat my enemy. I will never see the sunrise that I'm going to save the world for. You know what I mean? Like that's Aaron Yeager. He knows that he needs to be the catalyst. He needs to be the destroyer. He needs to be the villain, even though he doesn't want to be the villain. I mean, you get that whole scene with him and the kid where he saves the kid from getting his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
The kid who was stealing, the little kid from the internment camp.
Knowing full well the only option he had was to just he was trying to find a way out of the rumbling at that point.
Yeah. And he keeps saying, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And the kid's like, what are you sorry for, mister? And he's like, I'm just so sorry. Because he knows that he's going to be the one to kill that kid.
The metaphor of the baby is insane. The
baby gets passed up.
When they're passing the baby, that's insane, bro. That is so crazy.
That's actually a question I wanted to bring up. What do you guys think of that? Because the baby, right? The mother she hands the baby off because the people are being pushed towards the cliff by the rumbling coming. So if the mother just passed her baby to save it, right? Because she knew she was going to fall into the ocean and die. But then they started passing the baby back towards the Titans. So I'm thinking, was that the humans were just trying to sacrifice said baby to try and stop it in that moment? Or were they trying to actually save it because they're like, this is the youngest one, get him away from the cliff? But then one gentleman actually grabs the baby and brings it down and holds it close to his chest to try to comfort it. And that's where it stops, but then the rumbling stops. So it's really interesting if you think about the fact that whether or not the people were like, we'll sacrifice children to these things, and that maybe that will stop them because the heathen gods of old we would sacrifice people to. It's really interesting to think about.
My interpretation of it was effectively there is a hope here that maybe we'll survive. And if someone makes it through, at least let it be the most innocent person here.
Well, that was my original thought too. But then when Roman brought it up, I started thinking about it, and I was like, there could be two sides to this coin. But I think that's the one that they were going with.
I think so too, because like I don't really see any logical reason as to why people in that situation would think that sacrificing a child to the Titans was going to stop them.
Yeah. Why would the mother do that?
Well, the mother died. The mother fell off.
That's right.
Yeah. So my point there was that when you are in that situation with literal to your mind demons destroying the earth and you're about to die, you will do anything to survive. So, demons. What are demons like?
I think you've thought. I think
don't
you've
make me
your
make
head
this about Chainsaw Man.
I was about to say, I think you've thought your head up your ass on this one, because if I'm being honest, I think it's more so just a protective instinct sort of thing, or mostly just showing that even in all these people who treated the Eldians as less than human, there's still some good things about them.
Well,
there is no true good or evil. I think that's the point of the scene. And that's kind of the point of the entire show is both sides are equally awful and both sides are equally good at the same time.
I agree with that, but I'm just saying that there's no answer to this question the way that they show it in the show. So I'm like, it could be that some of those people were just like past this as a last resort. I'm playing devil's advocate here. That's it. I do believe that it was to save the most innocent. That's what I get out of the scene. But I'm saying playing devil's advocate, what would the opposite of that be? Oh, the opposite of that would be sacrifice it.
No,
Maybe that
Pilgrim.
will help save us if we just sacrifice something to these devils.
No, Pilgrim.
Pilgrim, I'm not surprised by that.
So this actually kind of brings me up to something that like I wanted to get into. So like we're talking about scenes. What are some of y'all's favorite scenes? I actually have a list here of some not like so much scenes, but like I think some cool moments. Levi versus the Beast Titan was sick. I
My
liked
eyes,
that.
I can't see.
There are a lot of good ones, but I made the intro specifically with scenes that I really liked. I
Yeah.
didn't include some of them because I wanted to diversify it a little bit and try and like capture like the full look of the series and like some of the most popular ones. So there was the Beast Titan, and there was Erwin's speech. The other two were just personal favorites of mine. With I shouldn't say personal favorites because Aaron's transformation against the Armor Titan against Rhino was
Dope.
that whole scene is just iconic. But the boulder, the boulder scene is one of my favorites.
I'll give
The
you
Battle of Wall Maria is sick too.
I
love that
give
whole
you
fight.
One great scene when Annie is chasing them in the forest. Annie chasing them in the forest is insane, dude. When she's like just booking it and she's just smacking people against trees, and then she just rolls up and she looks and Ervin's right there and he goes, fire, and they just freaking catch her. That is dope. Even though she escapes,
Levi
that whole
versus
situation is sick.
Erwin too was sick.
My favorite scene in all of this, or some of my favorite scenes, I really liked when Aaron went like absolutely insane at the end of season 1 fighting Annie.
Yeah.
That was a really good scene. But personally, my favorite is the end of season 2 where they're all chasing after Rhina and Erwin is just like, Aaron Yeager is right before you. Advance! Advance, god damn you!
And then
That's
his
why
arm gets
I got that.
bro,
That's why I got that.
and then his arm gets bitten off, and everybody's like, Commander, and he goes, I said advance! Like, dude, that is so, oh my god. I love it.
Like
Erwin is the GOAT, dude. If he had said that speech to me, I 100% would have.
if Erwin told me to kill myself, I would.
Yeah, bro. If Erwin was like, we're gonna ride out, we're all gonna die. I'd be like, yep. So Erwin is Crimson's exception.
Yes.
No.
Don't lie.
He's not.
Crimson lore? Crimson
He's
lore?
not an exception. I'm just saying he
kidding,
has
I'm kidding.
charisma. Like he is an inspiring leader.
No, I would follow
No.
that man. Like if I was in war and he was my commander, I'm following him to the grave.
Exactly.
Like that's regardless.
So, am I allowed to add just one more scene, which I think is sick and really kind of wraps like together the whole series? The opening dream sequence, the fact that matters down to the final episode and shows so much is insane. And just how like you want to talk about like long-term storytelling, that is perfection in terms of long-term storytelling.
Yeah.
And
We'll get into that first, but Muffler Tape, did you have
Yeah.
anything to add?
Oh, as far as like favorite scenes and stuff, I mean, I don't disagree with what everybody has said so far. I'm not like as super passionate. I mean, obviously Erwin is amazing, and I pretty much love every scene that he's in, especially the charge and stuff like that. But for me, I get more into the psychological aspects. I don't know if you've noticed that. It's kind of like one of my motifs where I kind of like when they go towards the conduit and stuff like that, or the node, right? And more metaphysical, I guess, stuff like that, which is something I kind of wanted to mention earlier, because we were talking about the time loop and things along those lines. And I didn't actually draw a comparison the way you guys did. If anything, without spoilers, I would consider it to be like a flip side, like a dark version of showing how things change over time, like Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer has a very positive interpretation of that, where this is very negative, and yeah, but you guys have covered some of the other stuff already too, but yeah, we'll keep it going.
I mean, to your point too, what about the first time that Eren wakes up after the attack and everything in the very beginning, and he's got the key around his neck and he has visions of his father? Would that be one of your favorites? Like the whole backstory of his dad rolled up and grabbed Eren and was like, we're going into the woods, and then just injected him with the spinal fluid.
Yeah, well, the whole story element is really good. The issue is, which I think is kind of interesting, would be, why did he forget that, but then choose to remember it later on? Was he forcing himself to forget? There's different things like that, as far as
yeah. As far as what Eren remembers, there's a couple of causes from what I recognized in the series. One is, as far as the total memory of it, he basically locked it behind that door up until the point where he made contact with Historia.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
And that basically awakens all his memories. But he was consciously controlling that because he was doing it to Armin as well. Controlling the memory across that whole span of time using the power of the founding Titan, because while he is doing the rumbling, he can see through all of time that he's connected to. He says there's no past or future; it all just exists.
I remember now, yeah, because he was talking with him the entire time to try to get ideas and stuff. So yeah, I remember.
The other part of it is that they mention this: first transformations are rough for people, and they generally don't remember what happens.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
And Armin doesn't realize what happened and how he became the Colossal Titan.
He doesn't really Bertold until Bertold talks to him. They tell him, but he doesn't remember it. Bertold shows him it because he's able to connect to Bertold because he ate Bertold. The other thing is, in that scene when Mikasa and Armin are Mikasa forces Eren to eat that piece of bread when they're 12 years old, right after the first attack. I think, Roman, did you show me it, or was it you, Crimson? Somebody brought it up last Friday on the podcast that Eren is in that scene. Adult Eren is there.
Alex did.
Who did?
Alex did. So yes, Eren is in that scene. Eren is in that scene.
Our friend Alex from our podcast, he told us that Eren's actually in that picture. So Eren was there. Insane. I don't understand how Eren's there as an adult in the background, but he's there in the background. You just don't notice it.
But maybe it's just a little subtle hint. And if it was from Eren's perspective in that scene, if that's what they were going for, then him being in the background makes sense, because technically the ghost of Eren's future memories is always hanging around Eren throughout the entire series. That's just the way that whole time loop works.
Bro, and that just proves
future Eren is watching all of this the whole time.
That just proves how freaking good Isayama is.
No, on a technical level, Isayama is an incredible writer. To have this all planned out and have all of these little details come together. And if the only retcon I can find is the Colossal Titan's powers, which really aren't all that consequential, it's just a minor thing.
What is it? What are you talking about?
So when Bertold first transforms in the episode where they breach Shiganshina, there's no explosion. But in from season 3 onward, every time he or Armin becomes the Colossal Titan, it goes off like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Why not use that power on Shiganshina right out the gate. Like they had that
Yeah.
planned. It's not like they couldn't have had Annie and Rhina run off to a safe distance and let Bertolt do his thing.
Okay, I have an answer. I have an answer for that actually. It could be this. They were also 12 at the time. Not as developed. Not as developed of a Titan. He doesn't know how to use his powers quite yet. That actually might be the second time that Bertolt actually transforms into the Colossal.
They flash back to it in later seasons to where he used that nuclear attack in war as a kid. So he can do it at that point.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
That's a good point, Crimson.
Okay.
Damn.
He
Never
can
mind.
do it at
Yeah.
that point. It's just something that he didn't do. Now, there
He
is the
controls.
idea that he can partially transform, so maybe he just didn't. But my question is, why go through all that effort to become the Colossal Titan, kick in the gate, and then let Rhina charge through? Why not just blow it up and then have Rhina and then sneak in as all the chaos is happening, right?
So maybe they can actually control it.
No, that's what I'm saying is
is-
maybe they can. It's just one of those things where situationally using its ability to just of mass destruction like that makes more sense.
More effective.
And
yeah.
I also have to question then why he had to worry about transforming into the Colossal Titan when Rhino was close during the Battle of Shiganshina in season 3. He literally says he literally won't transform until
Because
about
Rhina's
halfway
gonna-
through the fight because he's afraid of hurting Rhina in the process. And that's why he launches himself into the air to transform.
So yeah, so you can't control it. Fuck.
There's that one little inconsistency there that I'm like, this doesn't make sense, but the fact that you can loop all these other details together and make it all one seamless story that makes sense with all these random hints you've given up from season 1, episode 1, that's brilliant writing.
So you know what? I think it really comes down to I feel like Isayama would tell you like the walls are just that strong.
Then how could
Mhm.
Annie break them?
Maybe it was used as like a terrorism, like, type of a situation where, you were trying to terrorize the populace, and the most effective thing to do that would be to like use Titans against them rather than just the idea of the explosion, because they would have seen the explosion. Maybe he was trying to draw a distinction on that, but if you can't control it, then it's still illogical. So I'm not for sure on that, man.
Yeah, no,
That's the one thing that like there are a couple of elements to that just make me confused. You can go with the point of, well, one, we do know Bertolt can partially transform. He does it in season 2 on top of the wall.
Yes.
So he cannot cause he doesn't cause an explosion there. However, it seems like if he it seems like in every other scene where the Colossal Titan's powers are used, it automatically causes a massive burst of energy, which effectively is a nuclear explosion.
Yeah, it's lightning.
So why is it that their plan revolved around Bertolt transforming and not causing the explosion? Because what they were trying to do was take advantage of the chaos to sneak inside of Paradis. That was the whole plan that Rhina, Bertolt, and Annie had.
So what I would tell you, if there wasn't that scene where he was worried about transforming because of Rhina, I would tell you that they were all hesitant because they were children, and they didn't know really how to go about it, so he didn't fully transform into. But here's the other thing. Maybe at that point he wasn't fully transformed. Maybe what he did was just because all he did was do a kick, and then he clipped out of there. He transformed out of there.
The thing is, we see later on when Eren goes to try and kill him during the Battle of Trost, he is fully transformed.
Well, yes, that's later.
And he doesn't cause an explosion, though.
Oh, fuck. Never mind.
So, like, there's that one random inconsistency where
Just say,
basically
I'm
the
trying to work
Colossal
around this.
Titan just does whatever it wants for the story. But if that's really the only thing that I find as far as, like, writing issues, it's a solidly written series.
But the Colossal Titans in the walls don't cause explosions, though.
They're not transforming.
Well, fair point.
The explosion only happens when someone transforms into the Colossal Titan.
I was gonna say, yeah, but
So
There's also the inconsistency of no, they can control it. Never mind. I was gonna say they're not just creating steam in the walls, but they can control it.
Speaking of the Colossal, just like a little bit of a backstory. I was over at Roland's house, and he desperately wanted to show me Attack on Titan. He was like, "Watch the first episode, and you will love it." And I was not sure. What sold me was seeing the Colossal peer over the wall and the freaking music, bro. I was hooked.
Attack
Instantly.
on Titan
I was-
has one of like my top 5 favorite like episode 1s of all
First
time.
episode, yeah. It's remarkable. That for me, when it comes to anime, it's got to be Attack on Titan and Bleach. Like those are the only two that have a great
Not-
first episode.
I mean,
Right
Naruto's
now-
too.
Naruto as well, yeah. But Naruto
Right now, what
yeah.
I would say as far as like my 2 favorite first episodes would probably be Attack on Titan and Oshinoko.
oof, okay, fair point.
Oh, I'm about to start
I-
with Noko.
I recognize.
I
by
won't
the way,
say
that's
I won't
good.
say anything because you need to go into that first episode absolutely blind.
I got a third one.
Hmm.
First episode of Sword Art Online. I
Yeah,
have,
I mean-
have to bring it up, man.
I haven't seen it, so I
good.
can't judge.
It's you
No,
like
but, like-
guys and you haven't watched Sword Art.
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, I was
When
the first episode of Tokyo Ghoul when he turns into the when he's watching the
When-
TV with the guy that looks like freaking Albert Einstein describing ghouls, and then he
I just,
runs
like-
over to try and figure out if he's. Oh my god!
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Tokyo Ghoul and ReZero both had really good first episodes.
I just
With-
remember Roland being so giddy, sitting on his couch, waiting for me to see the Colossal peer over, and then when you
Bro.
hear the music and
Bro, I
the
was probably
fear in
like this. I was
everyone's faces,
I was like,
bro, my face, I was probably like that. Like it had me hooked. Roland was like, "You're gonna love it." I wasn't sure. I saw it. I was like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" And yeah, it took
I
me
mean,
3 years to finish
one
the
thing I
show,
will
but
say-
yes.
It
Took
took
you
me 3 years.
3 years to finish watching the show.
The one thing I will say about Attack on Titan is I made fun of this show so much back in the day, and I was an idiot. That was before I was into anime. So all my friends would watch it, and I was like, "This is stupid." And I remember that's when the first episode of Attack on Titan that I saw was the very first episode they showed the Beast Titan,
Season 2.
and all my friends are talking about the Beast Titan, and I'm like, I'm just sitting there, we're like 15, 16 at my friend's house, crammed into a room, watching it on his little computer, on his PC. And all I was thinking about at the time was like, bro, we got a party to go to tonight. Like, what are we doing? And like, it was on, and I'm just like, okay, I'll sit here for 30 minutes. and
Fuck
see
that party. We're watching Attack on Titan.
Yeah, they were like,
That is a party though now.
yeah,
To
they
us,
were like, all right, like we'll smoke after this episode, and then we'll go to the party. And I remember I was sitting there, and I was like, what do you like? And then, but here's how my friend got me. He put on. I was staying at his house while his mom was away, so I was just there all weekend, and he just left SAO on. And I'm like, all right, I'll just watch this. Whatever. I guess I'll get in it. Because remember, back in the day, anime was very like not popular. It's like you get made fun. But then again, I was like, all right, I get made fun of for watching not popular in like the age group that I was in, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
look,
depends
and-
on where you're at and when you're at.
Yes. But I would get made fun of for Star Wars all the time. So I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll check this out. I like good content. So I watched the first episode of SAO, and I was hooked after the first episode. So I'm like, okay, he's right. Anime is pretty freaking fire. So then I went from SAO to Tokyo Ghoul to Bleach to Attack on Titan. Because I'm like, okay, the season 4 of Attack on Titan's coming out, so I have 3 seasons to binge. So I'm just gonna go through all 3 seasons and hit season 4 when it comes out. Man, was I obsessed with Attack on Titan. I freaking loved it. I have all of my friends in my friend group from Boy Scouts. They've all watched it now. They're all watching Naruto. Somebody texted me the other day, and I didn't know he was like this far into the show. I thought he was already done with it, but he wasn't. So he texts me, and he just sends me a picture of Toby from Naruto. And he goes,
Kidding.
"Who is this guy? He's such a stand for the Akatsuki."
Kidding.
And I was like, that's Toby. He goes,
Honestly, one of like the hardest line deliveries there, just the change in voice. Just
well,
kidding.
he
It's
didn't.
exactly as I predicted.
Yeah, so he didn't do it yet. So he has no idea. My friend has zero idea. So I'm like, he came over last night and he was like, "Yo, let's watch some Naruto." And I'm like, "Oh my god, you have no clue." So I was sitting there doing the same thing. I was like, like, you see some things? Like Orochimaru popped up and he's like, "Oh, Orochimaru!" And I was like, "Oh, dude, you have no idea." So I'm like sitting here holding all this energy in. But he texted me, and I'm so glad I didn't say Obito because I thought he finished Naruto already. So he texted me and just said, "Who is this?" with this picture. And I thought it was a joke. And then I was like, I thought to myself in my brain, and I was like, okay, well, that's Toby because he doesn't have the mask off. So it's not Obito, it's Toby. So I texted him, I said, "Oh yeah, that's Toby." And he goes, "Yeah, I don't know who this guy is. Like, he just keeps standing for the Akatsuki." And I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't just say Obito, because that would have been, like, he didn't give me any context. I'm like, dude, that could have been really bad.
All right,
But-
so
Sorry
let's
about
steer this back towards Attack on Titan because that's what
Yeah,
the
I'm
stream
sorry
is supposed
about,
to be.
sorry about my rant.
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's turning into the Roller Rome cast. I'm sorry about that.
No, we could
So-
turn it into that, though.
So yeah, as far as the writing goes, like I really liked all the characters in this series, and as far as like a really good season one, I think Attack on Titan season one was like the first or second anime I ever gave a 10 out of 10. And just being able to tie a bunch of like plot threads together like that,
Ooh.
it really goes to show that Isayama has a talent for writing. Whether you like the ending or not, you still can't deny it. The guy has a talent for writing because to do something like that requires a lot of foresight and a lot of planning. That's not something you just do on the spur of the moment.
He puts Kishimoto to shame for sure. But yeah, no. So actually, Crimson, with you ranking, I actually wanted to ask you.
Did you?
Didn't
Yeah,
catch it, man.
Screenshot that face.
Screenshot that because I know that Ronnie will use that. Pilgrim, screenshot that one.
I got it.
While he's frozen, I want to make a confession. Since you guys were talking about the first episode so much, the first time I tried to watch Attack on Titan was pretty close to when it came out, like within a couple years of it first airing. And I hated that first episode. Actually, it freaked me out because I'm not into horror typically, and the horror elements made me feel like it was so disturbing that I was like, nope. And until years later, when season 3 came out, and that's when my friend finally convinced me. He's like, "No, man, you got to give this a chance." And so I was like, "All right." And yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, so for me, I had a very negative first impression compared to everybody else. So,
actually, I will say I have a friend who, the guy who got me into anime, me and him bullied that friend into watching anime alongside us.
Mhm.
And he also felt the same way about the beginning of Attack on Titan. It creeped him out. He didn't want to do it. So we continued to like bust his balls over Attack on Titan for like a year before he picked it up again. And then he watched, he's like, dude, this series is awesome. And all we had to do was feed him some trash isekai and some random, like, a little bit of high school DxD, and then all of a sudden Attack on Titan is great.
you flashed him, and then he's like, all right, show me what you're going to show me, man."
So Roman says his internet went out and he'll be right back. Makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's exactly what happened. It's happened to us on the podcast before.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm still surprised it took him 3 years to finish that. I watched all of Attack on Titan inside a month. All of it
Yeah,
inside
I
of a
mean,
month.
Bro,
it's
that's
better
why
to
we had
binge
to
it.
bully him. We had to legitimately be like, Roman, if you don't finish this, like Crimson, you said it. You were like, if you don't finish this, I am going to literally spoil the ending for you.
I am going to come into your chat and pull a Biggles Mets, and I will spoil the series
No,
for
he
you.
literally threatened to ruin the ending for me, which was like crazy.
No, it's
Like,
not crazy because you started watching this shit forever ago. You should be done by now. I don't want to hear it. It's not crazy. Let's finish it so you can come onto the stream. That was the point.
so sorry, my Wi-Fi clipped out. What did I miss? What did y'all say?
Nothing
You
really.
were saying something about the my rank since I'm doing the rankings and then you cut out.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, Rolando.
so-
What's up, dude?
So my question was, y'all can either give it like 1 through 10 or like, letter rankings. What would y'all rank every season?
Ooh,
Um,
that's hard. Season 3 is number 1.
Nope.
interesting.
I
I think
agree with
I think
Rolo.
I was making notes for this before we got on here tonight, and I was sitting here like, okay, which seasons do I like the most in order? And it's literally 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order. Like I like 1 the most, and then from there it's descending order.
No, I think
Harsh.
season 3 has to be 1.
It's a really tight race when it comes to season 1, 2, and 3. But with 4, just for like the various things that happened around 4, especially with them breaking it up into Attack on Titan's final season part 1, final season part 2, final season part 3, final season part 3 part 1, final season part 3 part 2, final season part 3 part 1.
Yes,
part 3
because
part 2.
I literally just saw it.
Theatrical release.
I literally just saw it in theaters like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So yes, they're still putting Attack on Titan out in theaters. It was fantastic, by the way. Biggest theater that I've ever seen packed in since before COVID.
Yeah,
But
anyway, as far as the issues with season 4, there was also the fact that I felt like it kind of turned its back on that like ray of hope sort of thing. The way they kind of did Aaron dirty right at the end of the series. They didn't show a whole lot of what happens after all of that is resolved. I felt like that was kind of like a blue balling ending.
yeah, I agree.
I would say that as far as season 4 goes, everything is like, so season 1 is a 10, season 2 and 3 are 9s, and then season 4 is like a high 7.
I would say that season 4 has, going back to when we were talking about the best scenes, season 4 has a fantastic two fantastic scenes. The docks when they're leaving Paradis and they're fighting against the
Great
Jaegerists,
one.
and then Flock gets shot by Gabby. By the way, fuck Gabby. But season 4 also has the scenes of.
I must be in the minority because I'm one of the few people who seems to like Gabby as a
No,
character.
I like her at the end. I like her at the end.
Can we all agree that Flock is the worst character, at least, though?
I don't see like Flock was just too gung ho.
Gabby's the worst character, bro. I'm sorry.
Flock
Stolen valor. He did nothing. All right. And then he acted like I did it all.
I agree. The only thing I
know?
liked out of Flock was the meme of him turning around and going,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But Flock, like,
also, how the fuck did that motherfucker survive getting dragged across the ocean?
yeah, that's true. But that's where I'm coming to the next scene, which is Hanji's death, which I thought was fucking phenomenal. Hanji taking out all the colossals and she just sets on fire, and the music and everybody's like, Hanji! Like, oh dude, oh my god, that
So,
shit had me.
I actually. So, Crimson, you said that you have season 3 at like that's your high. No, sorry.
I said that was
Yeah.
bad.
Season 1 is your highest ranking. Roland, season 3 is yours. Muffler, what was yours?
It was season 3 as
What
well.
was your
for
highest
me.
ranked? Season 3?
Yeah.
Y'all are gonna hate
He's gonna say
me.
season 2.
Season 2. Yep.
Season 2's a
I,
banger.
I respect
don't
it.
blame you.
Season 2 is fucking awesome.
Yeah, season 2.
Advance, goddamn you!
Yeah,
Yeah,
season 2's
bro.
That's where you get all the
I
stuff
love.
with the mirror. You get the tower. The tower whole everything going on at night at the tower is really good. Like
Yeah.
all of that.
See, the thing about like season 1, one of the big reasons I like it is it really just kind of encapsulates everything that is the majority of Attack on Titan. Plus,
That's
it is
true.
also one of the best demonstrations of Erwin's strategic thinking.
I also love Commander Chavez, and he gets the best like parts in that season. Except for another great scene is when Chavez and fuck, do you guys know what's the name of the guy from Marley, who's the other commander? It's Keith Chavez.
You talking about that scene where they're on the boat, or like
Where they're
back in
on the
season-
boat and they
Yeah.
both light the fuse.
Yeah, that was pretty
Yes.
cool.
That was badass. And I
That
like
was
the
sick.
fact that we had two different people on either side, but they were both joining in to do it. Like that was pretty freaking cool.
So
That's
we're kind of
fucking cool.
all
And Chavez is
in-
also the guy that blew up the train.
kind
He
of
was like, I don't
all
vigorous.
we're kind of all in agreement, kind of sort of. We all respect each other's opinions on this, but best intro.
That
Ooh.
was one of the things that I was going to lead into once we kind of covered like the writing is I
Ooh.
want to talk about like if you had to like rank all of the intros, because I think most of the intros for Attack on Titan are freaking awesome.
Number one has to be number one, but Rumbling is number two for me.
So
Disagree.
here are my letter tiers. Season 3 and season 4, the Rumbling opening is an S tier. A tier is season 1, part 1. C tier is season 2 opening, and then season 4 part 1's opening. That is my ranking.
So my number one favorite intro from Attack on Titan is season 2's intro.
You like Sasage?
Sasageo.
Sasageo.
That
Yes,
one,
sir.
that is one of my motivation songs for like sticking it out in the gym. Honestly,
See, no,
Now-
dude. If I hear da 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 da, like I'm just
so
going, like,
here's where I'm gonna get really controversial because in order, like from my favorite to my least favorite, so Sasageo, which is intro 3, season 2, Red Swan, which is season 3, part 1. Gurren no Yumiya, the very first intro. The second intro for season 1, Jiu no Tsubasa. Then the Rumbling, Under the Tree, and then My War in intro number 5, which is season 3, part 2, are my least favorites.
what's the intro
Whoa,
for season
holy
4
crap.
where they're all? What's the intro for season 4 where they're all whited out, but they're just a lot of color? Like they just put.
That's My War. That's My
Yeah,
War.
My War is the first
I was
one.
gonna
of
say
season
I
4.
like My War.
I like all of them except for intro 5,
Because
the
My
one
War
at the very bottom.
like, what is it? My War is the one that's like dun 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 dun. Dun.
Yeah,
Like,
I was
like
playing that on a speaker at work, and my boss walked in. He's like, "What the fuck are you listening to?"
Dun, 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 dun. Bro, it makes you want to go to war. It's a good song.
Season
No, Sasageo makes you want to go to war.
Sasageo, but also
So
the first one.
So for me, it's a really close one between Sasageo and the Rumbling. And the reason why I gave it to Sasageo is because it's literally a national anthem for a fictional country that doesn't exist. And it makes you want to be like, fuck yeah, dude, let's go. You know, like that's the thing, you know. So that's the only reason why I gave it the edge. I prefer the Rumbling for the most, you know, like if I'm working out, I really like it, but Sasageo gets the nod from the pure creative standpoint, in my opinion.
I listen
And then,
to Rumbling
you know,
all the time, but Sasageo is also on my plate. Like I love them all.
It's on my phone as my ringtone, the Rumbling, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The very first intro, just mwah, like that one is also like really, really good. Da 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 da.
Yeah, of course.
Attack
But-
on Titan. Like, Yeah,
But
no,
think about like standing in a crowd and they put on Sasageo and all the scouts walk out and they all give their hearts, they all put the arm up, and you'll be like, yeah, this is a country I'm gonna fight for. Like it's patriotic as fuck, and I love
Yep.
it.
The lyrics
like that was
literally
part of
being
the country.
devote yourself, wholeheartedly devote
Give your
yourself.
heart.
So for me as well, I would say so. My War is 3, okay, because I really enjoyed that song as well. But then I'm forcing this in, okay. This is not an intro, but I think the 4th best song, in my opinion, is Akuma no Ko. Like that song is top
Ooh.
tier. It's a closing, okay. It's an ending, but at
Yeah.
the same time, if you want to feel something, okay, all you need to do is just watch the first take of that song and see her passion in it. That is one of the most moving things I've ever seen as far as a performance is concerned. It is top tier and it means so much. It's a really good send off for Aaron and the story and stuff like that. I really prefer that as like the 4th best song in the series, in my opinion.
We haven't even talked about endings. I think all the endings are fucking fantastic. They're
I don't really remember the endings as clearly as the openings.
well, most
'Cause
people skip them, but I mean,
I don't
Well-
usually. I usually at least try to like keep up with endings because some of them are really good. Like Oshinoko season 2 had a really good ending. Some endings for like other season or series are great. Like Memo Sepia from Mob Psycho was another good one.
I was gonna say it's a little bit different when it comes to other anime. Like if you look at Tokyo Ghoul, for instance, like every season has an intro and an ending, so it's a lot easier to be like, what do I love about this intro? What do I love about that ending?
The only one
like say
that
Satachi is great.
Yeah, oh my god.
Yeah.
The only one that I can really like say that I definitely listened to because I was pretty much binging this series to try and do videos on it. Was the one at the credits to I think it's To You 2000 years from now.
Yes. Also, like
Isn't that the name of the first episode?
like another show that does it.
It is, and that's kind of the nod to it. Is
Yeah.
I was gonna say like another show that I think of when it came to like I would watch the full intro and the full ending. There's 2 of them would be Bleach and Kaguya-sama Love is War. Like I would and Naruto. Like I would watch the intro and the ending first. Like the first episode of the season, I would watch the intro and the ending as soon as the intro changed.
I'm a big audio guy. I really enjoy music quite a bit. Okay. And there are great endings. Okay. I mean, I'm pretty passionate about those just as much as intros,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I've got
can we
a
also
full
just talk
library.
about-
So.
I was
I'll
gonna
tell
say
you
you're
what,
probably
I'll
gonna say the same thing as me is, and just like as far as like music goes, Attack on Titan has one of the
The
greatest
score is
soundtracks I have ever
immaculate.
listened to.
Yeah.
Like if I have to pick like a soundtrack to listen to from an anime, it really comes down to do I want to listen to Frieren or Attack on Titan? And Attack on Titans is just better.
I'm gonna come out and say that Attack on Titan is the Star Wars of anime. It's got that type of vibe
Like-
with the music.
Just
It's-
like the
Yeah.
great part of it, like you see Big Girl, the song that they play when you find out that Rhina and Bertolt are the
That song, dude.
yeah, I saw them do like the actual like in studio. They have a video of like the in studio recording of the chick who does like the actual singing. Like, she goes in on it. It's great, like absolutely like chills. DOA, the song that I used for the intro, great, just great background music. But like even EMA, the song that they play when Aaron is carrying the boulder to seal off the hole in the wall.
Yep.
That is a really good song. Vogel Im Config. A lot of people probably wouldn't be able to put that one to anything, but it's the like really dramatic music that plays when things get kind of like tense and dark.
Crimson, I got another recommendation for you for good intros and outros. Black Clover.
I actually do have a lot of Black Clover covers on my playlist.
Fantastic intros and outros. Black Clover is I love Black Clover. I liked it more than My Hero at the time, and then Black Clover got the Bleach treatment. So I know it's gonna come back. They're gonna make it come back for the War arc. They're gonna do the same Bleach treatment, but great music.
So, kind of just something that I wanted to like ask y'all now that the show's over. Do you guys think that this show will get Kishimoto'd? And what I mean is, will the show come back?
No, I don't think it
And
can.
A
like,
Boruto like sequel? No.
yeah,
I don't think it can, and I like the fact that it can't.
Well, technically it could. It's just there's no point to it. There are no loose ends in the
Yeah.
plot to
That's
say we should continue this. That
That's
was
why
one
I
of the
don't
big
think so.
issues with Naruto that led to Boruto was the fucking moon people shit. But with this
Big moon.
one, I don't think it can because all the plot threads, all the themes wrapped up.
Over and over again.
And as far as popular sentiment, I don't think, especially with the reaction the manga got, I think Isayama would be better served making an actual, like an actual different manga altogether than doing something in Attack on Titan. And
$5 from Biggles Mets.
Bagels Mets at $5. I promise I won't talk about your favorite anime right now. You already know what I have to say.
that's awesome.
And that deserves. Let's see if I have something in here.
Thanks, Biggles Mets.
Do I have something good? It looks like I need to get some more material here.
I have.
Let's just go with
Chad. University.
Oh man.
No, but like the thing that I worry about is that like everything comes back eventually. So I'm kind of worried that like maybe it'll happen to Attack on Titan. They'll find some way.
No, if anything, it'll get a remake like 10, 15 years from now.
No, yeah, it'll get a remake.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
They're gonna milk it.
They'll also
More.
probably do.
And they probably won't even use J. Michael Tatum for Erwin, and I'm just going to be fucking upset with that.
No, they won't.
Agreed.
I think in the future, and I'm talking way in the future, it's going to be the same way that eventually Disney's going to redo the original trilogy. You know what I mean? So it's going to be the same thing. Eventually, they will redo Attack on Titan. It'll probably be live action when technology's better and shit like that. They'll probably do it.
A live action movie too.
No, it'll be a live action like show. I'm not. I wouldn't.
There's already live action Attack on Titan.
I know there is, but I wouldn't be surprised if they actually would do that. Like 50.
Has anybody seen
50,
the
60
movie?
years down the line?
I watched a guy do a review of the movie and say
I've seen the movie. It's fucking terrible. I've also seen the live action Bleach, Tokyo Ghoul, and Death Note. They're all bad.
Tokyo Ghoul was the only one I watched, but yeah, it's pretty rough. The CG is just not there.
I didn't even know Tokyo Ghoul had a live action. Holy shit!
Oh, dude, they do it. So the fight with Jason is in the it's in that YouTube volume that when YouTube Red was a thing. Remember where it's like all the white squares are the floor and the ceiling, and it's just black walls. They literally filmed it at the YouTube studio. Like that was a thing that Rooster Teeth used. That was a thing that like other YouTubers like Machinima and things like that used when YouTube Red was a thing. That's before YouTube TV, YouTube Music. That was way back when, and that's what they used for it. Actually Cobra Kai, the first season of Cobra Kai there's a scene filmed in that studio.
So just to like kind of wrap up this part of the conversation, you guys don't think that that Attack on Titan will get a continuation?
I don't think they can. I don't think Isayama will actually sign off on it.
Isayama already made a bunch of money off of Attack on Titan to the point where he literally had Japanese police investigate him because they thought he was selling drugs.
Yeah, he made that much money.
Didn't he make an epilogue book though?
He made a epilogue that is Levi talking to Gabby and Falco. Gabby and Falco. Yeah. Like about his experiences as a scout.
So is Levi just in a wheelchair for the rest of his life?
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks.
He's not an Eldian, so he didn't get any of the body manipulative effects that the founding Titan had.
I'm sorry, Roman. He's in a wheelchair the rest of his life.
Screw you, Roland. No, but so
No,
like
Lieutenant Dan.
Roman's just like, that means he can't fight back.
He's frozen again in the best position.
He's not frozen. He's just staring
Oh,
at
he's
us.
not. Never mind. He just.
Oh yeah, he moved. Yeah.
Look, this is
So-
your fault. You've done this to yourself.
Yeah, you did
So-
it to yourself.
so okay, no. Actually,
Roman,
I
can't
told
believe
you
I
that,
knew it,
Roland,
though.
in confidence. I told you that in confidence. And then you blurted it out on episode 100.
Yeah,
You were
why
like,
wouldn't
everyone
I?
just has to know this.
Why wouldn't I? You told me that Levi's an exception. He needs to be added to the list. Why wouldn't I? Don't tell me any more exceptions.
Anyway, so you don't think that like Levi's experiences as a scout could be like made into a show?
I don't
you
think
know
they
what?
should touch this series because in any other way, because it's complete.
I
It's
agree,
fine. It's a success. As time has gone on, people have looked more favorably on the ending. So I
Because
think
people
it's fine.
hated the ending, right?
When the manga
people
first dropped,
hated it.
people hated it. Yeah.
You know what? He actually has
Oh,
a
no.
point there, and I'm not talking about Levi specifically. If they wanted to go back in time and do a prequel, they could do it because it would be about a mirror. It is possible that they could do
Probably.
something like that. Would I like the idea of it? No. But is it possible? Yes.
Damn it, there is
Some-
a way that like they could keep it going. Shit.
Sometimes a
Yeah.
fairy tale should just be a fairy tale. Okay.
I
It's like-
agree.
but yeah, you're
I-
right though.
Look, as much as a good thing is fun to see more of, the Boruto effect sets in when you try to milk something too much.
Yes, it does. And that is, I don't know if Crimson is the one who created that quote, but the Boruto effect is real.
It's literally on my channel. I'm the person who I coined that for myself. I don't know if it's a real thing or not, but I effectively coined that because it's just how I felt about like the need to milk something beyond its actual lifespan. And quickly, because he donated another $2, Biggles Mets
Hey!
ReZero dub came out. Time for Priscilla's Opie. I respect that. Okay.
Yeah, you love
the
Reese.
the only
Some-
scene that shows any sort of fan service and
Yeah, Rolando Ramirez, by the way, the homie, he said, I looked at the ending in the manga. It was not given enough context to make sense. I agree. I also looked in the manga. And
Didn't the ending in the manga change? The
well,
ending changed,
I
right?
think covered it on Weaves and
Weaves
Waves.
and waifus, yeah.
it didn't change. They just made it a little bit clearer. That's effectively what happened. Is a lot of people didn't like the time span over which things devolve back into war is not clear until the anime ending. In the anime, you see that it's hundreds or thousands of years before. I think everyone who Eren was trying to protect is long dead by that point.
Yeah, they're remembered in history. All of them are remembered in history, but the main thing that really happened was like that, you know. The one thing I will say that really sucked to me was having Pixis and what's his name, the other guy, turn into Titans and die that way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it hit different when they had to kill him, but I mean, man, it was sad. It was sad seeing Commander Pixis turn into a Titan.
Oh, you say that. Now
Dude,
we've talked
he
about
was
our least favorite characters with Gabby and Flock.
Oh, I was going to
fuck
bring this up.
Flock. Who's everyone's favorite characters? And I guarantee you, mine are not on most people's lists.
Mine is also, and he's not my profile picture.
Probably either Irvin, Jean, or Levi. Those are my three.
See, mine is obviously Erwin. I've talked about the guy so much. Like, just absolutely my favorite character from Attack on Titan. There's no one else that compares. Like, as a leader figure, he is inspiring to the viewer, really well written, really smart, and just excellently delivered on as far as like his whole story arc. Erwin is my goat for Attack on Titan. Other than that, like Commander Pixis, I really liked. This is why I say like I have some like really weird picks and characters, and I also did really like Historia.
Historia is great. Pixis is goated. Kenny's up there.
Yeah.
He's not my favorite, but Kenny's up.
Yay!
Yeah. You seen the meme of all the different
Oh wait,
the Brazilian dub.
Yeah.
I also like Zeke too. Zeke.
Muffler Tape. Who are yours?
Well, I mean, it was going to be Irwin, but outside of him, though, I mean, I wouldn't say Zeke. From the traders. I mean, I do like Reiner quite a bit. Like, it was very interesting, his character arc, and like how tormented of a character he ended up being. I mean, he kind of was similar to Aaron, but a little bit different, obviously, you know, from a different perspective. So I really liked this character too. I thought it was pretty good.
So my favorite would be, and I agree with you, my favorites in a line of succession would be Jean. I would say in order of appearance, mine would be Jean, and then Reina, and then Erwin and Zeke tied.
Ooh.
Because I love
Nice.
Zeke and I love Erwin.
Interesting. So you like it when people get neutered, huh?
No, I don't. But
Well,
Zeke,
no, clearly Jean, you know, I mean, so
Jean's my favorite character.
yeah.
He's 100% my favorite character. I think he has a fantastic arc in the show. He goes from being an asshole that wants to join the military police and doesn't give a fuck about everybody else to seeing the true terror of what everyone's dealing with. And then Jean decides, like, because they all ask him, they're like, dude, aren't you going?
John is the normal dude in a sea of psychopaths in this
Yo,
series.
literally.
Right.
Freaking love him. Like,
But
he's
Also,
He gets the girl too, but
Yeah.
moving on.
he does.
yeah,
Like,
fuck
right
Aaron.
now,
Yeager.
like I mentioned
kinda
earlier, that
like-
my mom was watching it, and like her favorite character is Mikasa, and I don't blame her,
she's okay.
but I think Jean is he's got the most out of the scouts, in my opinion. He has the most emotion. He has to carry the body of what's his name? Who's his friend that died? That Rhina and Annie and Bertold let die?
Marco.
Like after that, dude, Jean is fantastic.
Didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I accidentally clicked that.
I was gonna say, what?
Got a thing for Marco, sir? Like, come on, man.
But Jean is a great character where he's just like, he sees the true horror of everything. He decides not to join the military police. He wants to join the scouts to defend everything so that he can have a regular life. So that people can
Also,
Would you say he's the moral core?
I actually, you know what? I think I would, because he's always trying to do the right thing. And even when he yells at Aaron when they're in Aaron's mind space, like in that desert with the tree, like he just goes, Aaron, just come back. Like, just fucking talk to us so that we don't have to kill you, please. Like that's kind of what he's saying. He's like, you asshole, but he's still being Jean, where he's like, Aaron, you pig-headed son of a bitch, like, just get back here. Like, you know, he's
Suicidal idiot.
he's trying to be the friend that's like, bro, come back, please. Like, he's trying to hit him with the friendship points, not just like, Aaron, we love you. Like, he's trying to hit him in a different way. And that makes so much sense to me. And he becomes a true captain and or commander. Like, he really does become a leader. and it's beautiful. Like Jean, even at the end, when they're all turning to Titans because of the gas from that freaking centipede John that comes out, like Jean and Connie's like freaking out. And Jean's like, "We're good. We're gonna turn into Titans, man. This is it. This is the ending."
I also gotta say,
like,
so I actually think that Armin grew on me a lot because I hated him in season 1,
I hated
and
him in season 2
I
too.
didn't. Yeah,
See,
but then
I only hated Armin when he was a kid. Once I actually put him in the scouts, I thought he was a whole lot better.
No, I hated Armin up until they were chasing the female Titan in the field when she showed up.
If we're gonna play that, I never really cared much for Zeke either.
you
That's fine.
you
with
don't
me.
like Zeke?
He's not bad. I don't know. Something about him like annoyed me with the way like he was basically like the self-hating character of the series. I was just like this
We can all say that Sasha's goated though, right?
yeah.
Also, I think-
Definitely the comedic relief of the series. That's something that it needed, really.
Yeah, Sasha and Connie.
Without her, it probably would have drowned in its own drama. But the fact that Sasha was there to add it's basically like Guts and Puck for this series, where like you have
Also,
one
like-
who's super serious and everything around it is like super serious, and you have this one character who's just sort of like goofing off the whole time.
Yeah.
Also, I think Hans was like the homie. Like,
Oh my god, yeah, that's another character that was up there. Hannes.
yeah,
Oh my god, Hannes is the man.
yeah.
He's the guy from the wall who first grabs Aaron and Mikasa. And,
Oh,
yeah, Hannes is
Bro.
he was actually before, like back in the day when I was only watching season 1 and 2. My favorite characters were Jean, Hannes, and Pixis. And I hadn't seen much with Erwin yet. So it was like Jean, Hannes, and Pixis. Like Hannes is up there, dude. Honorable mention. Hannes rocks.
I almost forgot he existed, but yeah, I mean,
The crazy part is, bro, just thinking about Hannes saving them and then Aaron seeing his mom getting eaten, and then knowing that he was the one responsible for her getting eaten is mind blowing. Just I know that I've been saying this, but like just how everything looped together was just crazy to me. And like something that I can't say for like a lot of my favorite things is that every scene matters, man. And like just it's just so crazy to me to just think about that. And so like I was thinking about that scene and I was like, oh yeah, Hannes is, in that scene. And just thinking about that scene though is like how that scene ties in later is just perfection, at least like in like my eyes. But I was thinking of him while thinking of that scene while hearing y'all talk. So I just wanted to bring up that scene and him because he doesn't have as big of an impact, but he still is there when a lot of the things that matter really get set into motion. So I think he's worth a mention. And Pixis too. He's like in my top 10. But yeah, so
I don't really think there were many characters who I thought were terribly written. As far as like the whole series goes, I can't think of like Flock comes to mind, but like everyone else like served their purpose.
I don't
and
think he was
all,
poorly. Sorry, good.
No, I just mean like as far as like as a compelling character, someone who like adds something. I guess obviously he works with the plot. It's just like I don't give a shit about him personally. And
100%.
there's some other minor characters actually that I didn't like Zeke's assistant lady or whatever. The blonde.
Oh my
chick.
god, yeah.
I didn't really care for her either.
Shit, yeah, I hate her. What's her name? She looks like a man.
Yeah,
What?
I thought she was a dude too.
Well, that was the point. Yeah, she was wearing a beard at the beginning.
Yeah, I even liked Peak.
I like Peak.
I thought she
She's
was another
okay.
character who was like somewhat interesting. There were a few funny moments around her being used to being the cart titan, so she would just like crawl around on all fours at times.
Yeah, because she was in the Car Titan form for months.
Yeah, there's also there are some interesting NSFW figurines you can find of her. So apparently that's for someone.
A furry, maybe.
No, not as the Titan.
Oh,
like
okay.
in human
Or
form.
human form. She's all right. She all right.
Yeah, like when they're like in the office or whatever, and she's on like all fours or whatever. Like they have like a shot of her ass or something. Yeah, someone took that and decided that they were going to make something out of that.
Peak's
Oh,
cool.
man.
I love Peak in the final battle, when she just keeps transforming and untransforming like back to back, and she's like running down the bone, and she's like, "Oh!" Like, I dig her. Yeah, Peak's sick. She gives Jean the opening to actually be able to blow the neck off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Is there anyone that I absolutely hated in that series, who drove me crazy?
I was never a big fan of Grisha. I kind of like understand why like some people like him, but
dude, Grisha's great.
I just don't like him, man.
Yeah, he's
well, I think that's your daddy issues speaking.
Yeah, no, I mean, probably. Honestly, I'm just gonna be honest. That is probably what that is. Yes,
so,
but
Grisha is not.
I'm not saying he's badly written. I'm not saying that he's badly written. I just don't like him, and I don't know why.
Because like it's obvious that he's not a good person.
He was trying to indoctrinate his own son. Yes.
Yeah, like he's not a good person, but he's a good character.
He also murdered a bunch of small children, just like Eren Yeager. So.
Yeah, well,
like father, like son.
Those children were a little bit different. I'm not saying child murder is okay, but like, fuck the Rice family.
Okay, then.
Oh my god,
that escalated.
All right, Roland.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't have killed the kids. I would have just killed the parents of the Rice family and the older sister. But like, he just went to murk all of them, and I was like, okay, well, that's a little bit messed up. But like the rest of it, like, I don't agree with Anakin Skywalker for killing the freaking kids in Revenge of the Sith either. But
yeah, here's an interesting question from Rolanda Ramirez. What would you say is the explanation of the past Titan holders turning on Zeke and Eren?
They turn on Eren because Zeke is part of it. That's when Zeke comes out of the bone.
Well, here's the thing: they all seem to have their like own independent will. And just because they are descendants of Ymir does not mean that Ymir has complete control over their will, right? So it was probably one of those things where they were seeing what Eren was doing and decided against it, realizing that this is a horrendous thing to do.
I mean, Rolando's kind of right, and I do agree with him. You got to get rid of possible retaliation.
Oof. I mean, that's a slippery slope, but I can get the idea. It's a good thing I'm not making decisions in wartime, okay?
Yeah, I would say the same thing.
Yeah.
But to that point, with his question, no, they were all being controlled at the moment it was Armin that got them out of control. When Armin was being, what was it? They called it a fuck. I know the animal. Starts with a K.
Capybara.
No, it wasn't capybara.
You almost said it.
It wasn't capybara. I did almost say it. But yes, it's an African animal. It looks like a horse mixed with a giraffe. And it has those weird horns. That Titan, that beast Titan, that had Armin in its mouth, that grabbed him with its tongue.
That's
So,
Australian, Rolando.
but it actually, like, he was then connected with Aaron. That Titan was trying to get to the location where it could absorb Armin into the body the same way that everybody else was there. So not everybody else was in the body, but he wanted to absorb him like it absorbed Zeke. And then you have Zeke building like the little sandcastle. He's just sitting there like a zombie, just building the sandcastle. And Armin talks to him, and to Zeke, what was it that Armin handed him? Was it a feather?
No, baseball.
No.
Oh.
Zeke saw a baseball.
That's right, yeah.
But Armin handed him something else. And that's what woke him up. And by Armin doing that, it also woke up everybody else. And that's why they were able to have free will again. That's what did it.
Yeah.
Even better told. Because he talked to told.
It's been a minute since I've seen that part of the series. So
yeah, he had to communicate through the coordinate, and
that's what it was.
Yeah, like that shared place. And I don't know, that's like a spiritual thing at that point. Like the fact that he even found himself in the coordinate was probably because he was about to get absorbed, something along those lines. I think that's what I think. Kind of brought him there. But yeah, you're correct. And I almost wonder if that's like her control over all of her descendants or something along those lines. Like if that's like a symbolic thing related to that. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, it may have been more expressly stated in the story. I just can't 100% remember. I always found that very interesting because, time passage and everything else being just so different there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, time passage is like seconds because we see that in the episode where they're in the plane. That's right after Hanji dies, and they're in the plane, and they all get brought in. But I don't understand, and can you guys explain to me, right? Because I didn't even get it at the point when how is Mikasa and Levi brought in? Because they're not Eldians, they're Ackermans.
I'm not sure.
Is it because that the Ackermans have a contract with the Eldians?
I think. Well, no, Mikasa is only half Acker. The other, well, no, actually, she would be. Her mother was Asian, and her father was an Ackerman, so that wouldn't have worked either way. Only Eldians would have been able to. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, because Mikasa and Levi are both Asian. They're the only two Asian characters. Everybody else in the show is supposed to.
Levi's not Asian.
Is he not?
No, he's an Ackerman. He's not Asian. The Ackermans are like Mikasa's father was an Ackerman, and
right, because Kenny's not Asian, so that would make sense that Levi is also not Asian. Okay, but my point being there is it because of the connection that Ackermans have to protect the royal bloodline? Is that why he's able to bring them in?
It might be. I think the part of it is that the only trip up is that the Ackermans cannot they are not subject to the memory erasure effect that the Founding Titan controls. I think that's the one thing.
Yeah, but I mean, bringing them into that world, how would that?
I genuinely don't know what to say on that front.
All right, Rolando, that's an interesting point, but
I mean,
I don't
So
think her and Jean had enough time to do that before what
The-
happened.
they're saying they are an Eldian family.
So, the Ackermans are an Eldian family?
Yeah,
Okay.
But then that doesn't make sense because
a bloodline of warriors that protected Eldia's king. But they said that they are an Eldian family. So like I think it's because their mutation, maybe. I don't know. Like
I
it
was
could
gonna
be
say because they
different.
can't turn into Titans because those are the only two that they even at the end they were like, well, I mean in season 4, earlier when they turn all the guys that drank the wine into it, like Mikasa and Levi are, well, Levi's not there, but
Now
Mikasa and Levi aren't affected by the smoke by the centipede type thing that comes out. They can't be turned into. That's why Jean says Mikasa and Levi, you gotta leave.
Yeah, that seems like that does not make sense. It doesn't check out with a lot
I
of
would
things
say
that
that's the biggest friggin' retcon compared to the exploding colossal titan.
well, I just said that's the only one that I could think of. But now that you start mentioning all that, yeah, that's
That's a
definitely
big plot hole I always wondered because they have been saying for the entire show that can't happen. Like Mikasa can't be turned into a Titan. That's why Mikasa couldn't take the serum. Armin had to take it.
Yeah, it seems like it's just a specific group of them, though, because and again, I wanted to make sure because I wasn't 100% clear on it either. But they're saying that yeah, they're among some of the only ones that are immune to it. The others include the Oriental clan, which would later become the noble families inside the walls.
Yeah,
So,
so
I mean, I guess she would like be like double immune then, technically, since she would be like Oriental. I guess correct.
yeah. But what about so then Levi has to be half Oriental himself.
well, the Ackermans were immune. That was something that was said.
Yeah.
Which
Mhm.
means
So
like,
it has nothing to do with him being Oriental.
so
It has
why
everything
is
to do with him being an
okay,
Ackerman.
so I got a question then. So then why did Kenny think about using the serum when he was about to die?
Maybe because he doesn't fully understand how it works. Maybe he knows that it can
No,
turn
no.
people.
No, it's because the serum is based off of the founding Titans' power, and they're immune to the founding Titans' power, right?
So as far as what Kenny does there, it could be that he was mistaken in thinking that he could have taken it when he couldn't have. Because it's not like he knows everything; he just knows enough about it to see through it. He doesn't. He might not know that it only works on Eldians and that it wouldn't work on him.
Right. Well,
so
I mean, to Muffler Tape's point, it could have just healed him and not turned him into a Titan. And
so I
he might
actually
know that it could have
Yeah.
just it was going to just heal him.
It,
so
it
like
even go ahead. Sorry.
no I'll let you go because I have a broader question. So
Okay.
I'll let you say what you guys say. Yeah.
No worries. I was just going to say so to further solidify the fact that they are in fact, Eldians. It even says when awakened, an Ackerman in question gained the combined battle experience of every single Ackerman before them via the paths. So like
Oh,
when they
shit.
go into the coordinate, that's what gives them their powers and stuff too. So I think it's just because they're a unique type where they're immune to maybe the founding Titans' power, something along those lines.
Well, they definitely are because that's specifically why they're outcast. And it says so in the series.
Yes.
They were outcast because they were not. Their memories could not be erased by the founding Titan.
Right.
Right.
And they were persecuted, and then and we get what we get with Kenny and Levi and Mikasa because they're the only ones left. It's also why there's no Asian people on the island because it's just Mikasa.
Okay.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask y'all something. What is a what if scenario for Attack on Titan? Something fun that like when you're watching it, maybe in like, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, if this one thing changed, it would make it slightly more interesting. It could be like a wrinkle or like a character getting like a different arc or like one character getting like another character's story. So I was thinking about this and I have in my notes here. Um so what if Mikasa and Aaron's stories were flipped. Like, that could be something that I think, like, if we did like a what if scenario, like, would everything play out the same way? Just like give Mikasa Aaron's story and then give Aaron Mikasa's, like how
Yeah,
much
they
different
would play out exactly the same because you're just basically swapping faces.
I don't know if they play out exactly the same. Mikas is a lot more aggressive.
She's also smarter, in my opinion.
Yeah, she is smarter.
Yeah,
Well, you said give her Aaron's exact story.
Well, fair point.
Oh yeah. I have one.
I got one too, Go.
I hope I don't take yours, but Armin dies and Erwin becomes a colossal.
Ooh.
I did take yours, didn't I, Muffler?
No, I have a different one.
Okay, but
that
yeah.
is interesting.
Armin dies and Erwin becomes the colossal.
Oh.
I think Erwin probably would have just enabled Aaron's destructive tendencies at that point. Erwin was never really the type to care about human casualties or anything. He would have just basically focused on victory and victory alone.
I don't know. I feel like he does care because he says he remembers every single person who died. He says
yes, but he also says that he was willing to sacrifice them all for his dream.
He does say that later on.
And his whole plan to capture the female Titan was to sacrifice all those people to lure her out.
Yeah.
Erwin doesn't really care about he bears the weight of the of guilt, but he's going to do it anyway because he has goals he wants to achieve.
So
yeah.
How would you? Yeah, but do you think that Erwin would still be? Yeah, I think he would still be part of the scouts. I think he would still.
Erwin would look to see the rest of the world destroyed, probably to save Eldia. I think that would be his end conclusion if he had survived that.
No, I don't know.
After seeing all that, I think he would have been like, all right, well, my goal has always been to understand what this is, and I've always done it under the pretense that maybe we can find a way to save humanity no matter the sacrifice.
See, I don't know about that because if you were to replace Erwin with Armin on the plane when they're going after Hanji has died, like, I don't quite think that he would actually. Well, I mean, we might even have Hanji at that point because he might have just turned into the Colossal and fucked up those other Colossals and then just dipped out.
I don't even think he would have gotten there. He probably would have sided. What I'm saying is he probably would have seen the Jaegerist as the best bet. I don't think he would have gone with them.
I don't think he would have been cool with killing Pixis and killing his friend and then killing Zachary. I think Erwin would see that, okay, this is too far. I really do. Because
I see the point.
Like, I think he would be like, this is way too far. We're not turning all of our military into Titans and then killing them. That's not a thing that I'm down with. And then, from there forward, he would be with them, right? Let's say he's on the plane. And
I guarantee you he never would have trusted Zeke and would have been like, yeah, we should not ever take this guy's deal or anything. He's up to something.
No, I agree. I 100% agree.
Just to deal with this really quick, because what the actual hell?
Silence, you glorified wad of trash, or I'll squash you like a roach!
I think a lot of people have wondered that one, Rolando. You imagine, like, that scene,
Nope.
there's just a ton of Titans on the fucking field.
No, stop, Roland, no.
Could you imagine when there's a ton of Titans on the field and they're just booking it? And they're you're just dicks swinging.
What now?
Not enough drug.
No.
I had to bring it up. I mean, he said it. Basically, if you don't have a penis, don't hit on me. fuck? We killed Roman. He's done.
Yeah, he can't even.
I know. I was watching backstage. I watched him go. He's just enjoying not being the one getting roasted for once.
Wait till Friday.
Is it possible to have this many teams? No. So Muffler Tape, what was your what if?
Oh yeah. So mine is what if he was just slightly more intelligent than what he is, and Aaron goes, hey, if this is a Cold War situation that we're dealing with where we have the superior technology right now, how about we just infiltrate their society and continue to increase our technology levels so we keep on pace with them and we just stop the war that way, at least within our lifetime, so he doesn't have to sacrifice himself to achieve the goal, because the only way he can think of it right now is to control all the Titans, to take the power on himself and go forward with it. But if it's not about him, then it should be okay technically, because the issue is the power imbalance. And as long as you can maintain the power, balance, then it should be okay. So, the whole issue is, they're going to have airships and they're going to just be able to take us all out. It's like, okay, well, steal the technology to make the airships. Now you can be on equal footing with them. Simple as, just a little bit more intelligent,
They got the boat, right? Like they found like there was that boat by the ocean in season 4 in the very beginning. They got a battleship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and at season 4, he went over there and infiltrated. That was his whole thing,
They
so he was
even
already
had
there.
planes built that they were working on. They had a superior technology in the form of the materials they used for the ODM gear. That fuel was something that was specific to Eldia, and it was what enabled them to make the airplane. Yes, they had access to a technology no one else could get, which was a superior aerial combat. Plus, I mean,
to Muffler's point though. So like, the thing is that, and like, I'm not saying this, Muffler, because like I disagree with you. I'm just trying to have like I'm trying to have a conversation. So like, you're saying that if Aaron was smarter, the rumbling would not have happened. Is basically like what you're saying. So,
because his whole point,
that's actually an admission of Aaron's in the story.
Yeah, exactly. But in addition to that, though, his whole point of the rumbling was to save his friends, right? And so it's like, well, you could save your friends by, keeping the war effort going. And, again, if the issue is, they're going to attack us because they're going to outstrip our technology, they won't be afraid of the rumbling anymore. Well, then you would simply equal their technology. And then at that point, you're still at a stalemate and it's not a problem. Right. And the only way to enable the rumbling is for him to take the power. So like he wouldn't even go down that path, because he wouldn't need to. You would just infiltrate their society, steal their shit, and get out. I mean,
here's another one.
Russians,
So Aaron knows that using the Founding Titans' powers, he can effectively manipulate the physical state of the Eldians. That's why they were going to make the Eldians incapable of reproducing. So he can control stuff like that. I mean, as soon as he had the Founding Titan, he basically could have made them immortal.
I don't know about that.
There was a lot of things. I mean, if you can transform someone into a Titan like that,
I think that's all he could do. I didn't think he could do anything else other than that.
Well,
regeneration.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Wait, you're right, because he could literally, like,
he has the ability to affect them on a biological level. With
so like, if he could neuter all of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's that. I mean,
got the same point across that they're not enemies. That was the point to get across. But I understand that what if. What I was gonna say was, when it comes to like the planes and the technology and things like that, like you could have kept that going. And they would have gotten that because Anyan Capone would have still been there. And Anyan Capone is the one who actually like taught them how to take their ODM gear and turn it into technology for planes, blimps, things like that. Trains.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Anyan Capone, by the way, I'll shout him out as a top tier character on the the best of list because
Onyan Kopan is definitely an interesting character to choose, but not a bad one.
no, I was just saying like she's a shout out. He's not in my top 10, but he's a shout out character. And what Onyan Capone does is honestly it's leaps and bounds. I mean they exceed like 100, 200 years of technology, like just because he's around. He's basically the Tony Stark of like Attack on Titan, which is pretty freaking cool. But honestly, dude, in this day and age, we don't have ODM gear. If we were fighting a war over in like freaking some other country and they had ODM gear, we'd be fucked.
That is very true.
Like
That
if
is
there
very
was
true.
ODM gear going on in like Desert Storm, we'd be done. Like we got guns, but ODM
Yeah.
gear is like crazy fast.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's an insane amount of technology that we don't even have that exists today. Could you imagine American soldiers with ODM gear? That'd be fucking badass. But
for maneuverability, yeah, it would be amazing. You're talking like Starship Troopers at that point, man. You just power armored, jetpacking around, So yeah.
I'm talking Spartans from Halo, literally.
Oh yeah, basically.
With
hey,
strings.
Heinlein came first, okay, buddy. All right.
No, it did. I know. I don't even think drones could work against ODM gear. If you were fast enough, I mean, you'd be moving at an insane speed. I don't know if a drone would be able to actually shoot that down, Rolando.
The issue is the wars we're currently fighting. That would really only work in a like urban landscape.
All right, Ukraine. But like at this point in this history, they had it during like Vietnam times.
No,
earlier
they had it during like World War One.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like this, so that's trees, that's buildings, that's like. But we've also seen people in the show use ODM gear to slide across the ground because they hook onto a rock and they slide like I mean, like that'd be insane.
The whole in my what if is around the fact that like they would test for Eldian blood, like with injections and stuff. They would test people, if I'm not mistaken. But the thing is, you could just capture their scientists and bring them back, and do things to them until they give you the technology. Basically, I mean, so it's still possible, even if they're just Eldians and stuff like that, But anyway,
Rolando, Spider-Man with swords.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spider-Man with a fully automatic weapon.
Yeah.
web shooters.
ODM, yeah, web shooters. ODM gear would be an insane thing, dude.
So, what is everyone's favorite Titan?
Oh, that's a good question. Favorite Titan design or favorite Titan in powers and whatnot?
Okay, well,
my
you
favorite
can
Titan design is completely different.
You can answer with both, but I would say for design, the Colossal's mine.
It is very creepy and striking.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, as far as design goes, Armor Titan. I like that one the most.
I was gonna say, as far as design goes, the Marleyan princess when she turns into the
Warhammer Titan.
The Warhammer.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the mask is over its face and it has like the slits in it. I think the Warhammer Titan is fantastic. Like it looks so freaking cool. The female Warhammer is badass.
I just gotta say, Rhina probably had the best Titan of them all if he wasn't more retarded than Aaron.
Yes.
He is more. How do you get more incompetent than Aaron Yeager? Let's just put it this way. Every fight they got in, if Rhina didn't get bailed out by someone else, Aaron kicked his ass.
Yeah.
Every fucking time.
Yeah, how are you more incompetent How are you more incompetent than Aaron Yeager?
I would say that my favorite Titan, though, probably Aaron's Colossal in the end. When Aaron turns, like, when he's fighting Armin with the fist fight right before Mikasa kills him, like, that Titan.
Nah.
That
When
Titan,
Aaron turns into the Founding Titan, that's like my favorite one.
oh, the Founding Titan's dope, but
In both power and design, I still like the Armored Titan the most.
I mean, I think the Armored Titan arguably is the best Titan.
Well,
but my favorite looking is definitely the Warhammer. The Warhammer Titan looks phenomenal. Like, she's so freaking cool looking. She's got that big ass hammer she's swinging around. Like,
The Smiling Titan, though, is terrifying. The Smiling Titan is, like, terrifying.
Oh, if we're talking about like Titans, like the look of them like being scary, like that's up there. That's up there for sure.
What about the one that's just a giant fucking nose?
Yeah, dude, that one's what is it? A 3 meter?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, I forget his name off the top of my head, but the one that had the crippled mother and like she was
Connie's
mom is like one of the creepiest ones. I'm just saying, wide eyed and no, man, nope.
I mean, we got to give the Beast Titan a little bit of grace. The Beast Titan's freaking badass. Like the long arms, the long dragging arms, and it just being that tall, but its arms are still longer, and like they're dragging behind it.
I don't know. It just reminds me of a very poorly done rendition of just like an old man with a beer gut. That's all I can think of. The fact that the fucking Beast Titan has a beer gut, I was like, all right, this looks retarded.
It's an orangutan,
right?
Like, I think of it
and orangutans look retarded.
Hey, orangutans are smart as fuck. All right, I won't have any orangutan hate here.
Have you seen an orangutan try to drive a fucking nail? They are not smart.
Have you seen the orangutan that has?
I don't see an orangutan doing fucking astrophysics. Okay.
Listen, have you seen the orangutan in Africa or I think it's Africa or Asia, that actually has like a toll for the humans that fish there? Like, he puts a stick across the river and he makes you pay him in fruit. And then he'll pick the stick back up and let you go. You have to pay the orangutan a toll to go into this fishing area. Okay, orangutans are fire. They're also like the size of
the Beast Titan still looks fucking dumb. It looks like a fat dude.
It does. Yeah, Rolando says go back to the orangutan spearfishing.
Oh god.
It could be the Cart Titan. I don't like the Cart Titan design.
Yeah, agreed. Now, from a power standpoint, okay, so again, if my memory is correct on this, so the Attack Titan is the one that can see into the future, correct? That's the one that gave Aaron the initial power, or was that the Founder power?
The Attack Titan has the ability to read the memories of the next user.
Okay. So I would think that would probably be one of the most powerful ones. I would think, but like as long as you don't end up like Aaron, I guess, that would be the key, Outside of that, I like the Armored Titan. So
because what if you are in the same what if you are in the same position as Aaron, where every situation that you see just ends up the same way, and you're like, this is the only would it matter?
Well, one of the philosophies of the show, and the work as a whole that I was looking at more was this whole idea of fatalism. It's like this is fated to happen, or like an enlightenment being like a self-fulfilling prophecy, basically something along those lines. And I think it's pretty crazy. I don't know if that would drive a person insane and make you turn into somebody like Aaron, or if I don't know what it means overall, but I mean, it's one of those concepts that I've thought about a lot. It's like, well, if you could see the future, what would that do to you as a person, in general? So yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah.
The psychological stuff though behind that, and like, I'll wait until Rolo comes back, because like I want to broach that with y'all, but like I think I do like the Founding Titan. Um, I know that that's not like a whole lot of people's favorite, but like what the Founding Titan can do, and just like I think that it looks cool. That's just me. So like I think that the Founding Titan's cool. But the Attack Titan though is like really cool. So now upon a rewatch, my mind might change, but I think currently the Founding Titan is like in terms of what just how important it is. I think that for me is the coolest Titan, but that's just me. But my favorite Titan's the Colossal Titan, like the OG one. Like, not like Aaron's rumbling ones. I'm talking about the one from like the first episode.
So
That
Bertolt.
first one. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That that first one is my favorite Titan. I think that just because that was the first thing that got me into it. So yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Um, but so what would y'all say is the stupidest Titan design, Crimson? I know that you mentioned the car Titan earlier, but like the
Are we
nose
talking about
Titan.
like design in terms of like their abilities and their look, or are we just talking like straight
Their
up
look.
design?
Bro, I
Their
got one.
look.
I gotta find a picture of it first, but I got one. I want to bring the.
The nose Titan.
Are we talking the 9 Titans exclusively?
No, like any
Any
Titan.
of them.
Oh,
All right, if we're doing any of them, then let me grab a picture.
because I don't really remember many of the like the random pure Titans.
I mean, like the nose Titan is like pretty stupid looking.
That one is just funny to me. But if I had to pick from like just the 9 Titans, I don't know, the Cart Titan. That one's just
Oh, I got one for you. It's this motherfucker. This one.
I can't even say like the Jaw Titan because Falco's Jaw Titan looks cool.
Okay, I would say that my least favorite Jaw Titan is I hate Amir's. Amir's looks stupid. I don't like the Amir's Jaw Titan. I thought when Amir was going to transform, she would just be that but taller. I really hated the look of like Amir. I still do. Whenever I see Amir as the Titan, I don't like it, but somehow I like Porco. So I don't like it's just like you have this chick and she turns into like that, and I get the point. It's like this good looking woman turns into something grotesque. I understand that, which is like the point of it, but I just don't like the look of that Titan. I really don't, and I do like the look of Porco's though, where it's got like the jaw on it, like the looks he's wearing a bleach like hollow mask, like or a hollowification. Like he looks like that. Like I like that, but I don't. I can't stand Amir. She just looks stupid. But this Titan to me, Crimson, if you want to share this is the dumbest looking Titan in the whole show, in my opinion, other than the nose Titan.
Yeah, true.
This one. Or this one, honestly.
Why does that one kind of look like a fucking naked Tom Cruise?
Holy shit. Yeah, like it just
Yeah.
going. Like it's just like dumb looking. All I did was look up dumb looking Titans AOT.
The fucking schnoz Titan.
That's all that's coming up. But then look, Amir's on here.
She looks like Gollum.
I mean, I guess I got you another one
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
Rod
Oh
Rice.
yeah.
Rod Rice looks like a he has no, his legs are tiny as hell. When he's dragging his face and all you see is his eyes. Like, I think I can get a picture of that.
We see Roland's search history. Damn it.
No. See, like this. This looks sick. I don't know. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one
I can see it.
disturbed me. That one really
Yeah.
disturbed me.
I was gonna say, like, that itself is disturbing as hell. When he actually stands up and his guts fall over the wall and stuff, I'm like, oh, that's freaking, they made him in Minecraft. That's crazy.
Why, man? Good God.
Did
That's
you
got to
see
be
the
like
guy?
Rule 34. That's
Did
got
you
to be
see
like.
the guy who made the entirety of Shiganshina in Minecraft?
I did.
Yes, and that was cool as
freaking
shit.
Cool. It's
Yeah.
so freaking cool. I'm looking for the one where he's like, see, like that to me, that's horrifying.
There's the other side from the Minecraft one.
Yeah. That's like that's great. I'm looking for the one where his
Bro
eyes
got
are
a
above
dumpy.
the ground.
Okay, well, the fifth exception has been added.
Like there's one shot where his eyes are above the ground. Let me see if I can find it. Rod Rice, Titan, face.
I need to grow up.
Nobody ever really grows up, man. Take it from an expert.
Muffler, how old are you?
I'm in my mid-30s, man.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
24. I still have time.
Oof. Feel that, man. It's all good.
Yeah, we're the same age. I was looking for the one where his actual, like, he's like dragging himself. You guys can find it. It's not hard to find the picture, but he's dragging himself like this. By the way, the music for this scene, where it's like,
Oh, bro.
like, dude, freaking sick. But there's one where, like, his eyes are just freaking huge. He's just dragging his face where it's like everything from his nose under is being dragged. But anyway, I mean, that's a pretty freaking cool Titan, but also a pretty freaking dumb looking Titan.
I would
So-
never describe some of the Titans as cool. A lot of the Titans as cool, actually. I would just say that they're really, really weird designs for the most part.
Yeah.
But it just kind of works because I don't know, it adds that element of like disturbing reality to Attack on Titan.
I mean, I will say that I do really like Eren Yeager's like original form, because his Titan has the, like the pointed ears.
Yes.
Yeah.
The pointed ears and
Yeah.
the green eyes do something for me when it comes to that, like, look. I'm like, that's very unique. It's very different. But I mean, while I'm looking up Titans, like the Warhammer, just want to bring up a picture of it.
So I would categorize it as like a surreal depiction, as far as like monster design goes, compared to where I think like Fujimoto would be better in overall monster design, but he doesn't capture surrealism. It's a different type of disturbing, if anything at all. Like, I mean, with some of the later, devils that are depicted and stuff. So
Yeah, that's one thing that I always thought was weird. Like in season 1, Eren enters that like berserker state, and then it's never shown again.
Yeah, that's actually nutty.
That is weird.
I was kind of hoping that would be
Yeah,
a thing that
yeah.
we'd see more of, but no, it ended up just being like a one-time thing.
I mean, this right here, I mean, it has to be my favorite Titan design. This is so freaking cool. Yeah, if I turned into a Titan, I would want to look like this. Any of these three, like, I mean, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're sick.
Like, that's That's too dope.
One of them almost looks like Griffith.
That's what I'm saying. The one on the left.
Yeah.
The one in the middle is the one that we see. The one that they're showing is the ones from, because they're all defending Aaron's neck, right? So these are the ones that are all like that one looks like the one dude from Bleach. That one looks like a Japanese like knight. That one looks like a real knight, and then this one just looks like a freaking killer. Like,
You want to be a serial killer kid? Here you go.
I mean, these are
Hey, you want to see a dead body?
Basically.
like if you turn into a Titan and you look like this, like who is gonna fight that? That looks horrifying.
Aaron Yeager, that's who.
Well, yeah, Aaron Yeager's gonna eat that shit, but like, honestly, I think the Warhammer has the coolest designs, especially when you see the past Warhammers. Like they have them. What is it right here? Let me see,
It's also the only Titan that can be operated remotely.
dude. Look at these. These are all These are all the Warhammers that were defending Aaron's neck. This one is straight up a knight. Like this one's a Spartan. That one's a Spartan with the freaking hair coming out of it. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
These are freaking badass. If I like, give me the Warhammer Titan, dude. That's what I want to turn into. I want to be a freaking knight. So I feel like the 9 Titans are like a chess set. Like, obviously, the Armored Titan is the Rook. I would think, right? Or would he be the Bishop? Because the Warhammer is definitely the Knight.
Does the Founder count as one?
Yeah, the Founder would be the Queen.
King. Oh, okay.
Well, it could be the King, actually, and then you would have the Attack Titan as the Queen.
Okay, but you only have like 5 chess pieces.
Well, the queen is the most valuable piece. So, yeah.
King, queen, knight, rook, bishop, pawn. That's 6.
Could it be like a Buddhist thing?
Could it be that you combine the Attack Titan in with the Founder? Because they're the only one that's connected.
Because the Attack Titan was separate from the Founder to begin with.
Oh, so then what's the one that's connected to the Founder? Is that the Warhammer? It's the first one that's connected to the Founder. There's one that's actually no, because Aaron can't connect to the Founder until he's eaten the Warhammer.
Oh no, never mind.
Not exactly. No.
Interesting, but I mean, they to me they act this.
He had the founding Titan. What he needed to activate it was Zeke.
Zeke would be the Beast. I would say the Beast would be.
It had nothing to do with the Titan. It had everything to do with the fact that Zeke was a descendant of the actual king.
The Beast Titan is 100% the Bishop, though. If you're playing this as a game of chess.
I don't think that analogy works because there's not enough pieces to make the analogy.
Well, there is if you just lower grade some of the other ones.
It is if you make some of the other ones the same thing, which I don't think works. It's not a really good analogy. It's a shit analogy. That's my point.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, they could fit the roles. I get
it's like saying if we wanted to represent all the Titans as balls, well, we're just going to make them all baseballs. Well, what's the point of the analogy? There's no differentiating between them. They're all baseballs.
No, there would be differentiated because of the certain moves that they make.
Okay, well then why make them all the same? Because they're all why make any of them the same? Because they're all unique. The founding Titan doesn't count as one of the 9. At least I don't think it is. You have the Attack Titan, the Colossal Titan, the Armored Titan, the Cart Titan, the Beast Titan, Warhammer Titan, Jaw Titan. Am I missing any? Oh, the Female Titan. I mean, that's 8 right there.
Really, all we have is 3 spots to work with.
You still have to make even if you
because the king and the queen, and then you would have the bishop, the knight, and the rook, and then the pawns.
Yeah, so 6. And I say it's a dumb analogy if you have to overlay 2 titans onto the same slot.
I also don't necessarily think that Isayama would reach towards chess. He may choose a different game altogether if he was trying to make an analogy on that.
That's true.
Like Go or something. I don't know.
I'm not saying that he was. I'm just saying that it's interesting to think about. Like the way that the way that certain characters maneuver throughout the storyline is very similar to how certain chess pieces maneuver.
I actually kind of wanted to bring something up kind of like that. So when Muffler mentioned earlier about the Attack Titan being able to see the future and such, I really wanted to just delve into this really fast. So Eren Yeager is a chess master in the sense that he was able to manipulate everything that happened. So
you'd be a chess master too if you'd run the same gauntlet 10,000 times.
Yeah.
True, but
he's still a fucking retard, okay? He's not a chess master. He just has experience.
That's true.
He's just done this. You're not a chess master because you can beat a boss in Elden Ring that you fought 500 times. You may be skilled at it, sure, because you know how everything's going to go. You've seen it over and over and over again.
Like, even better than that, it's like playing Destiny, where you've done the same raid multiple times, and so you know how to beat Atheon, but you're gonna beat Atheon like 7 different ways the first time you're fighting him, and then eventually you're just like, okay, that way works the most between Atheon and Fogoth. Okay, this is how we beat him. Like that's the Destiny way of doing it. You are literally doing it every week for months on end. So
Fogoth is a strike boss, dude. What are you talking about?
Fogoth on the night, what's it called? The Nightfall. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
anyway, I'm being aggressive right now, picking everyone's analogies apart. But to talk about the chess thing that you were saying, Roman, really quickly, you would have made a better analogy if you would have said it's kind of like Let Me Solo Her, someone who is notorious for having beaten Melania so many times he can do it with ease.
Yeah.
Than chess.
Right, yeah.
Because Eren's manipulations don't really come from anything other than he's seen this timeline play out. He knows how people are going to react, so he's just going to do his thing.
So I wanted to, but the thing that I wanted to ask you guys is, do you think that, and Roland and I briefly touched on this on our last podcast, but I wanted to save this conversation for here. Does young Eren once he sees the flashback, does young Eren know exactly what is gonna happen, right from episode 1, but he just tries to hide it deep in his subconscious? Or is it that he figures it out over time and knows that he can't stop it?
He can't remember.
He can't.
He literally Mikasa asks him, "Why are you crying?" And he says, "I had a dream, but I can't remember what it was."
Yeah,
because it was him forgetting the dream right at the start.
So my answer to that was it's subconscious. Are all the memories in there? Yeah, they're subconsciously in there. But does Eren really remember? No,
they're locked with the founding Titan's powers.
Exactly. So he does technically speaking, have those memories, but he does not remember any of them.
Right. So
That's how it works. So that's why he wakes up crying, because he sees the memories leak in and he sees them in a dream, but he doesn't actually know what any of it means. And he won't, because again, like Crimson said, they're locked. So it's like yes, does he have those memories? Yes, Aaron absolutely has those memories, but he cannot remember them or see them.
right.
Until
Like
So
haunted.
right.
so then my question is that and I really tried to wrap my head around this. Like, I even watched the first episode back over again. Why does future Aaron send that memory to his younger self in the first episode? Did they ever say why?
It's him,
Planting the seed, I would think. Right?
kind of.
He doesn't
Yeah.
but he doesn't remember it,
He's
right?
putting those memories there so that the attack titan eventually comes to him again. Effectively, without that, the attack titan doesn't follow the same path. It's because the attack titan was effectively reading those same memories that he has that link that forms the loop.
Yep.
Okay.
He
So
also
without him sending those memories, nothing can happen. Essentially, the story wouldn't happen.
Yes.
Kind of. It also wouldn't. It also would have been a thing. Wouldn't have been a thing where he would remember when he kissed Historia's hand.
Right. Yeah.
And he also ends up having memories when he wakes up with the key around his neck. He remembers certain visions of his dad, but those visions are allowed to be shown to him. That, hey, I saw my dad at one point between us getting from Shiganshina to here, but I don't know what went down and where's my dad.
Which
Right.
I want to
Yeah.
take a moment to point out, like, the fucking psychological effect it would have to realize that you ate your own father.
Yeah, that'd be insane. That's what I'm saying. You ate your own father, and you also
Killed
were
your
the
own
one
mother.
that killed your mother. Like, that's why I'm saying in season 4 when he's sitting there crying to Armin, it makes sense. I don't like I would be if it was me and I was in exactly Aaron's position.
It
I
can
would
make
be
sense,
very
but
tough
still
about it.
suck in delivery, and just not be something that I want to watch.
Okay, I understand that, but like I'm not saying like it's anything against. Like, yes, I get you there, but it makes sense why he would feel that way.
Mm-hmm. It
The
also
low-
makes sense why he did all the things he did, even though, like, I still wish the story would have gone a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you want to sit there and watch me cry for 10 minutes and talk about it, but like it's exactly the same. Like, it's just something that they show, and I agree. Like, that scene was very reminiscent of Frieze and Kaneki in Tokyo Ghoul to my like to my
Yes.
eyes. I saw it. I mean, even visually.
That was just
Dude.
like my like biggest question though, was that like the first episode confused me because I was thinking, so if Aaron doesn't remember, then why did he send his memory? But now that y'all have said it, I get why. That was one of the few things that like, I didn't get, was like, why would he do that? But like that whole him not remembering stuff was just like confusing to me. But like now that y'all have said it, I completely get it now. Yeah.
Well, Roman, I mean, the simple answer to that is that if he didn't have these memories, nothing would happen. He would, if he was given all the memories, he wouldn't do things the same way, which would mean that those memories would change, which would mean that the outcome would change. So
Right.
it like that's the simple answer, really, is that things needed to happen.
The low hanging analogy. Sorry, go ahead.
So just before you go, Muffer Tape, so like, was there nothing that could have stopped the rumbling with everything that like we know? Was there nothing that could have stopped it? Like, it had to happen
The
in that way.
only other solution is basically the Naruto way out, where you have your, kumbaya moment and everyone just sets aside their hatred. Something that Tokyo Ghoul did right towards the end, where the
Yeah.
CCG and the ghouls decided that they were going to work together and they put aside
Yep.
all the animosity for the greater good. That was basically the only other option for Attack on Titan, is either everyone forgets the bad blood and moves on, or one side has to die. Which there's still problems with the one side has to die issue, because even the Eldians, if they were the only people left, they would have gone and fought themselves, because there was a split between the Jaegerists and the anti-Jaegerists.
You have to have an existential threat. It has to be bigger than you to put aside your differences and stuff. That's the way it works. It's just like the Dr. Manhattan question. It's anything else. If there's an alien, then, maybe we'll all unite as one force against this greater threat to our existence type of thing. Yeah.
Yes. So Eren Yeager decided to become that, and that's why the rumbling came about.
Yep.
Right.
His ulterior motive in that
Yeah.
His ulterior motive in that was basically he is leveling the playing field, making sure that because of the damage he's going to cause, his friends will be able to live their lives in peace.
Yeah.
The low-hanging analogy, too, for what you all were speaking of earlier, in my opinion, the easiest one to draw a parallel between Eren and somebody else would be like Doctor Strange. Using the time stone to be able to see all the future paths. And then it's like, well, this is the way it has to be, and not really reveal it, and then go down that path. Right. It would be something similar to that, except he's dumb and he was a child that's traumatized by all the crazy, shit that happens and stuff. So yeah, that's the difference between the two. But I would say the easiest comparison would be, like a Doctor Strange or something. So.
Yeah. 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 No, I mean, it's actually a really good point. But yeah, no. So like, I just kind of thought about basically nothing that Aaron does could stop his memories from coming true. It's just gonna happen, no matter what happens. Which
Basically, if he does the thing that Mikasa wanted to do, where they run off, and they basically live the rest of Eren lives the rest of his short life with her. Eldia gets slaughtered by the incoming invasion of Marley because they want the resources on Paradis.
yeah.
If he goes the genocide route, the Eldians start fighting themselves. If they go with Zeke's route, well, it's not really peace. You just sort of die out.
Yeah, you would die out. There's no more Eldians.
Be a kind of miserable way to go.
So there's really no good way out. It's all just kind of,
unless everyone could set aside their differences, which wouldn't happen given that there's too much carnage on both sides. There's too much to blame each other for. There's a very, very long history, and the only way to make those two sides reconcile was to become the great evil.
yeah. Yeah, so that was just my big thing, because whenever I watch something for the first time, I kind of get to thinking, what if a character could stop this, or what if a character didn't have to do that? So I was just kind of thinking, because Attack on Titan is a very well written show, and I was just thinking to myself, would there be any way out? But now that y'all have explained it, nah, there probably wasn't any way out.
Well,
And
I mean, I was gonna say it depends on what it is, because when you say, oh, this is the outcome and it's always gonna be the same, it's like every time I watch Revenge of the Sith and friggin' Mace Windu's about to kill Palpatine and Anakin cuts his arm off, I'm always telling Anakin to stop in my head.
yeah,
It's like that's, but I know every single time it's going to be the same way. But having that said, if there were if Obi-Wan did not go to kill Grievous, things would have changed. With Attack on Titan, it's different, where no matter who was there, Eren still would have done the same thing. Except maybe except maybe if his mother never died. But if his mother never died, it never would have put him in this position. The only person I think that after Aaron's mom died could have possibly stopped him or possibly changed his way of going would be if Erwin was alive.
Well, that's an interesting thing because if Aaron hadn't decided to send the Smiling Titan at his mother, Bertold would have lost the Colossal Titan to Zeke's mother,
Yeah.
who was very
right.
anti-Marleyan. And that would have spawned a whole different side quest as she would effectively go on her mission to try and claim the Founding Titan herself.
Yes. And if that had happened, like let's say Erwin survived, things would be entirely different. If
So you think
if Erwin lived in the suicide charge, right? If he survived and Flock
Aaron
brought
wouldn't have
him
done
back,
the rumbling?
like I'm telling you, all the same things happen. Flock brings him back, but the only difference is Erwin's not on his deathbed, and they just inject Armin because Armin is on his deathbed. The whole entire story changes if Erwin's around, because Erwin would probably like Aaron looked up to him. Aaron actually believed in Erwin's way, so everything would have been different.
They chose hope, though, and that hope led to their downfall.
Yeah,
Because that was what, you know.
so yes,
which is why I find like the conclusion of Attack on Titan sort of nihilistic and unsatisfying. As much as it makes sense, as much as it is a good series and it's very well written, it's that element of it that basically just says the hope was worthless and this is as much as you can do. I find that kind of like nihilistic and uninspiring.
If you look at time in a cyclical way, which is kind of what it presented to us at the end of the entire show, right? We're talking about hundreds of years pass. Oh, we have a new war, levels everything, comes back, levels everything, comes back. The thing with that is that what it's really saying to you is that it's going to be an inevitable thing. The only thing you can really control is maybe the length of peace that you have, or the how high the high is or how low the low is or the length of time. You can't really adjust anything else, though.
That is one thing that I do think a lot of people who hate the ending will like berate the series for too much, is the saying like that it was entirely that because there was a war at the end, it sort of defeats the purpose. I don't think that quite a bit. I don't think that. Yeah. My point is that in tone and in the way like the series ends, it just wasn't satisfying to me because I generally like my happy endings more. It's just one of those things. Like as far as that particular point about the war goes, yeah. I mean, no matter what, you extend things out far enough, people are going to forget a lot of the history between two groups of people, and there's going to be conflict that arises. Inevitably, it's just how things work. If you have two groups of people, they can be as small as just two people each. You're gonna have differences in opinions. I mean, hell, we've had a bunch of differences in opinions here too, and eventually, all those disagreements will lead to conflict, especially when you apply them to a national level.
Yep,
that's just gonna happen. And the fact that Eldia was sitting on resources, that is the primary reason for any nation to go to war. There are very few exceptions to nations going to war. 90% of them, I think, throughout history, more than that, have been about resources. The only times where there were exceptions were the two world wars.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. I mean, World War II, what got us into obviously Japan attacked the United States, but the reason why Japan attacked, among other things, was the sanctions that prevented them from getting oil, which was starving their ability to do all their stuff in Asia, So yeah, that's again, resources, like you're saying, 100%.
Yeah, but the primary cause for that war was kind of weird. And the primary cause for World War I was a bunch of interlocking treaties and some very bloodthirsty military figures who wanted to test out their new military strength. But like if you go back to like why a lot of these conflicts spawn, it is resources. That's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Territory, actual like mineral resources, food supplies, all that stuff. Those are usually the cause of wars. And especially if you go back into like ancient history, the reason that empires were established were for control of resources.
Yeah.
Rare earth minerals now, so
And like,
where that
and, like-
lithium at?
Thorium in the
like-
future,
yeah.
apparently.
Yes, thorium will be good, but
And like, I know that I brought it up earlier, but it was just because it was something that, not that I didn't like it, but it was just something that, like, to me kind of felt like it not that it wasn't pointless, but it was just something that kind of didn't sit right with me. But I don't think that there being a war at the end of the show means that the end of Attack on Titan is bad. I think that kind of, to like what y'all were saying, it kind of just proves the human nature that there's always going to be conflict and that
Yes,
there's always
human
going
Well,
to be war.
that is interpreted as confirmation bias by people who wanted Eren to like completely genocide everyone. And then they see that and they're like, oh, well, this ending was actually totally pointless in the beginning. And it's a confirmation bias element.
No, I was gonna
It's-
say it's full on just like human condition. Like people
Yes.
are always going to war. That's gonna always happen. It's just this
No,
time.
I'm saying the interpretation that it's bad because of that final scene where the war happens and the end credits. Them hating that and saying that makes the whole series pointless is confirmation bias. They
Wow.
wanted Eren to commit genocide, and by hatching this plan to become the ultimate evil that would unite Eldians and everyone else.
Yeah, that's
He basically didn't do the right thing and cut it short and didn't do enough, and that made it all pointless.
yeah,
Which-
that's dumb as hell because like humans, like I said, humans are always going to war. Humans are always going to fight. That only showed the fact that this time, the world had actually progressed. The world actually had like cities, because there was a city on Paradis that we see get nuked or bombed, whatever, and there's a war going on. You assume that's hundreds of years later, and at the same time, there's no Titans, so it's not like he did his job.
This
Yeah,
goes
you
back
could
to
say
an
that
old.
he succeeded. Yeah.
It goes back to an old joke, okay? And this is a pretty sardonic one, but the idea is, so you can't be racist if there's only one race. That doesn't work in this context at all, okay? Because even if he would have wiped out everybody except Eldians, the problem is that just Eldians would have changed over time, spread across the planet, and then they would have eventually gone to war with themselves. I mean, doesn't change anything. Like,
I mean, look at the way people fight each other based on states. I mean, nobody wants California to be part of the United States. Nobody wants Californians. You might as well just say, like, hey, look at how we're infighting within a country here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the fact that we're fighting.
Let's make it smaller. Illinois, everyone hates Chicago, Springfield, and Peoria.
Philadelphia hates everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Philly, but we hate every other football team. So, like,
Or is it Peoria or LaSalle, Peru? There's three cities that are one way politically, and they basically govern how the state votes. Everyone else, which is like 90% of like the state by county, does not like those three. Like, particularly Cook County. Fuck Cook County.
so I mean, it's very similar to like the way the PA is, where it's like you've got Pittsburgh, which is northern, and they're an industrial city, and then you have Philadelphia, which is southern, and Philadelphia is a liberal city. And like, you get those two connections there, and like people in Philly, like I'm gonna use like football as an example. Eagles fans hate the fucking Steelers. We shouldn't, because like that's who we should technically be rooting for. If the Eagles don't go to the Super Bowl, we should be rooting for. They're not the other PA team, but we don't.
We hate
Cubs and Sox
Steelers fans more than we hate Cowboys fans. We hate Steelers
Oh, I
fans
don't know
more.
about that, dude. I fucking hate
It
Cowboys.
feels
I
like
hate Cowboy fans too.
I was gonna say I don't know about all that, Roman. Cowboys fans are a different breed. I think everybody hates them.
Illinois, we have a similar effect with the Cubs and the Sox. They're both from the same city. Like, and
Yeah.
you have two completely different teams of sports, teams of people based solely on their sports team.
Are you
Like-
a Cubs or a Sox fan though?
I don't do sports ball, but Cubs.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah, there you
because
go.
I'm not a big sports fan, but like, go Birds.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Phillies fan, but like, I used to play baseball. So.
I'm sorry, I'm not really into watching a bunch of men get sweaty and jostle over balls.
Bro, you sounded like have you seen Charles Barkley talk about that real quick? Where he's like, man, when you're getting banged by a guy and like that guy's just hitting you and he's banging you hard, like, and then
Ronnie, clip it. Ronnie, clip it.
no, and then it cuts to Shaq and Shaquille O'Neal's just cracking the fuck up like on the panel, and they're like, they all look at him, and he's like, "Why did you say that?" Like,
Oh man.
Football's a little gay. We all know it. They'll smack each other on the ass after the game.
I'm not a big proponent of professional sports, but yeah, I get the idea.
Yeah,
Well, but like,
football's a little
just
gay.
to like, go back to Attack on Titan though. Like, the thing is that when the final season came out, there were those people, to y'all's point, who were saying that like the ending sucked because of because Eren didn't massacre the whole world without understanding the point. He wasn't out to kill the entire world. He was
It
just out
didn't
so that his friends
suck.
could live.
It just wasn't as satisfying as what people were hoping for.
Well, he wasn't out
Yeah.
to kill the entire world. He was out to horrify the entire world so that they would never, ever fuck with the Eldians again. That was the point. And
Yeah.
he accomplished that point, but he went a little overboard. I feel like 50% of the world would be enough to never. I feel like 20% of the world would be enough to never fuck with the Eldians. 10% of the world would be enough to never fuck with the Eldians.
What
Just
did
wipe
he-
out Marley and move on.
What did he kill? 80% of the world?
80%.
Yeah.
80% of the world's population.
Wow.
Not to mention all the wildlife he probably wiped out in the process.
Oh yeah, and the trees. So like technically speaking, everybody.
Hold on. This dude probably just fucked the entire planet because they
Well, that's
just
what I'm gonna
wiped out
say.
like
Yes.
80% of the ecosystem as well.
Because technically
Yes.
speaking, no one should be able to breathe. Because
No.
he wiped out 80% of trees.
And he was scorching
Algae.
the area as he was on his march.
Algae, yeah, he was fucking up all the diatoms. They're all fucked up. They're all burned. Diatoms in the ocean. I mean, you're talking to an environmental scientist here. I get this. Like, technically speaking, he would have fucked the ecosystem to the point where no one should be able to be alive. But we're talking about an anime, so it's
We're talking about an anime with giants that eat people, yeah.
yeah, but I mean, like, regardless, like trees, the diatoms, the algae, the amount of like, there's no fish. I mean, there's no like that's the ocean creates the most amount of oxygen for our planet. So I mean, that's polluted.
And keep in mind, he was boiling the ocean as he was moving. That's what that giant ass steam cloud was when he was
Yeah.
approaching the fleet.
Yeah.
I mean, technically speaking, everybody else should have died before we even got there. But we're talking
The
scientific.
thing is, though, is that people, I think, didn't like because, like, now that I've seen the show, I've looked at like what people said when like the ending came out, and they actually thought that the ending sucked because Eren didn't kill every single last human, and it just kind of, why do you guys think that people misunderstand Eren's point? Like, why do you think that like that is? People that watch the show the whole way through don't understand what he was truly after.
I think it's a lot of Eldian supremacists out there.
Surface level people
so-
reacting to things that make them emotional
Yep.
and not actually thinking about things critically.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's exactly it. Because
Need I invoke the name of Mushoku Tensei when we talk about something like that?
Absolutely.
I mean, there's people out here that are rooting for villains all the time. There's people that rooted for Madara, and we're like, yeah,
That is
Madara's got a
true.
good
Well, in
point.
some cases, rooting for the villains is just the right thing to do, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Well, yeah, I agree.
John Walker was the good guy. He
John
absolutely
Walker
was.
isn't even a villain. He's supposed to be one of the Avengers now.
No,
Like,
they paint him as the villain in that series, but he was, without a doubt, unquestionably right in everything he did.
He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. It's the same way that, like, in fucking the Acolyte, like, George did nothing wrong. He was just a guy trying to do the right thing as a Jedi, and they were like, this guy's an asshole. Like, everything pointed you towards the fact that this guy was an asshole, and he did nothing wrong. They were like, yeah,
But,
kill him,
like-
snap his neck. I hate that show.
But like, it's just weird to me that people miss
I
that
mean,
like
Luke Skywalker. They made Luke Skywalker a friggin' asshole.
Well, because
Yeah.
people
Blue
made
titty
the-
milk.
people immediately made the Nazi association with Marley and automatically decided, okay, well, they got to go, not even realizing that the Eldian supremacists were literally doing the exact same thing.
Oh,
They wanted to
gonna say-
ignore that because it's on their side and it's fine because they were hurt first. When you actually look at the history, it was the fucking Eldians who started that shit.
who fucked everything up. They say that because okay, underrated character who only has like 2 scenes. Erwin's dad actually figured the entire thing out, and it was only because Erwin that his dad was killed by the MPs. But I mean, Erwin's dad was like, "See, we don't need to fight. This is just what's going on. This is the history of all of it." Like it's that simple. But yeah, no, there is people out there that are like, they are Jaegerists. Like, real fans of the show are Jaegerists.
I don't know. I think both sides are pretty fucked.
No, I
I would
no,
not want to be in that universe.
both sides are 100% fucked. But I'm saying, like, there's people out there like, no, Aaron should have killed everybody. No one should have stopped him. Like, I've seen these tweets. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like now that I am not afraid of spoilers, I've seen that too. Like there is a big sentiment of people that were like Aaron didn't go far enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but y'all aren't understanding the point. And so like that like to me was like it's crazy how people how they don't like the ending because more violence wasn't done without understanding the point of the violence.
You
Well-
have not seen the anime community as I have seen it. If you didn't watch my stream,
Yeah.
my stream last week,
You have not seen what I have seen.
yeah, no, that's exactly why I chose that. That's exactly why I chose to say that. But seriously, the anime community post COVID, they're all fucking retarded, dude. They are
Yeah, dude, it's
absolute.
And that's such a good way to say it because it is post COVID. Because now all the normies started watching anime during COVID, and they all think that they're fucking anime experts.
And
So
that's the
that's-
kind of people that you're
that's it.
dealing with is the people, like I said, who something hurts them on like a surface level emotionally. They have an allergic reaction to something in a story, and they immediately jump to a conclusion, and nothing can deter them from that because emotion is stronger than logic. They refuse to think about it.
No, whereas like you could have a nuanced thought of like a certain character in an anime who was right, but they weren't really right. You know, the way they went about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can give you that new, like, basically what Aaron did is what the Fire Lord did in Avatar. And we look at the Fire Lord as a piece of shit, but people are out there praising Aaron. Whereas they
Well,
did
it's kind of like
Well, because Aaron was doing it to evil people, even though the vast majority of people he wiped out had never actually done anything wrong.
And we show then they showed that.
Original
They literally
sins,
show that he's
you know?
murdering children.
Yeah, again, we can go back to them passing the baby along to keep it from falling over the edge of the cliff.
Yep.
Yeah, but like kind of to your point, Roland, while he didn't execute it right, I do think that like the goal of like, I think that like Madara screw
I have something to say about
Screw y'all.
about this particular clip.
So
Aaron is
I
a
actually,
fucking retard.
I think that Madara Uchiha in principle is right, but he just didn't go about what he wanted to accomplish the right way.
Look,
So
his goal was to rid the world of conflict by subjugating people.
Yes, exactly.
Basically, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That is
So-
Madara Uchiha.
Yeah, so Madara
Yeah.
Uchiha, technically speaking, you're correct. Like, what he wanted to do was give everybody inner peace. But the way he did give everybody inner peace was by subjugating every single person on the planet. So, yes,
Yeah.
he went about it the wrong way. Now, I can also tell you that I empathize with Anakin Skywalker, but everything Anakin Skywalker did is fucked up to get to the point of we will have peace. Did he end the war? Yes. Was there peace for 20 years? Yes. But the way he ended the war and the conflict was fucked up.
So then
But
Aaron
the villain
gets
has
that
a tragic
same-
backstory. He must therefore be justified in doing all the stuff he did.
Yeah, exactly.
So then like Aaron gets that same sentiment from you guys then, right? Like in
Aaron's like
some
Anakin
way.
Skywalker to me.
Aaron did objectively horrible stuff at the end of the series.
Yeah.
There's no defending him as a person. He committed some atrocities that would see that you wouldn't even meet the Hague. They would send you straight to the fucking news. Okay.
No, so I mean, I have more sympathy for Anakin Skywalker and what he did, and I actually like can empathize with him. I cannot say the same for Eren Yeager.
Okay.
It's like it's the similar argument you get into when you start talking about some like real world conflicts, and people are like, well, this group of people did this and this group of people did that. I'm like, there are good and bad people on both sides. Killing children on one side of this war is not justified by the fact that some of these people did awful stuff. Take your beef up with the people who actually did the crime.
I agree. I mean,
then
like,
you're
what
justified.
I'm
Then I'll
saying-
be on your side. But if you're going to say that, just to name the real world issue, is the Israel-Palestine conflict on either side justifies what either of them have really done? I mean, they've both done some pretty fucked up stuff.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
and,
agreed.
and what I'm saying when it comes to like that is that Anakin was manipulated. Eren Yeager was not manipulated. There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference there. Eren did it of his own free volition. There's a completely different story there to be had. I mean, Anakin was manipulated for 20 years. Up to that point. Eren Yeager actually just was like, this is the only way. I'm going to murder everybody. Like, I know I'm like he did a mass genocide on a level that has never been seen in any form of media, except maybe if you were to count the fact that they blew up Alderaan in Star Wars. Like, that's the only other thing that I can think of that is to this level in any form of media.
I think you're splitting hairs, but I think you are correct on a technical level. You would look at this like the difference between, say, like Hitler or like a frontline Nazi, working at like a camp or something, right? The difference is they're both evil. It's just like how you would justify that, how you would look at the scale of evil.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's still like they're still irredeemable regardless, So
Right. No, I agree with you. But I mean, Anakin was redeemed, but I do agree with you.
Yeah, like that's kind of the thing. I think it was the
Maybe.
Amagi that
Yeah, the
I think it was
Amagi, good channel.
I think it was the Amagi that like made the video, could Aaron Yeager have been redeemed? And I don't think so. No. Not after like the rumbling. No.
He wasn't smart enough to be redeemed because he
I mean,
couldn't come up with any better solutions.
I mean, he was doing terrorist attacks before that. Like
correct.
he literally blew up Zachary.
Would you want to
Yeah.
redeem? Would you want to redeem a guy who did 9/11 and then tried to wipe out the entire world?
No.
Exactly. Once
Yeah.
Aaron committed to that path, he was cooked.
No, yeah, he was cooked.
And when Sasha died, he realized he was cooked because there was no other way out. That's that like his whole like laughing there is like that was like one of the most like tragic moments in the whole series, if you ask me, where he
I agree.
basically realizes my fate is set. There is nothing I can do to stop this.
They should have thrown Gabby out the fucking blimp.
Gabby was just a kid, man. You know, like you can't.
I'm kidding.
I was about to say that hey, there's that Aaron Yeager should have gone that far argument is
No, I'm
again,
kidding. I
Gabby
did
is
get
just
a
an
little bit of,
indoctrinated child. I mean, she did what
yeah.
the propaganda told her to do.
Well, I would have done the exact same thing in her situation. So I'm only joking about it because
Yeah.
that's what people
So
say.
we really don't hate Gabby then, even though we do.
I don't like her as a character, but I don't hate her. Like she's not my
Agreed.
favorite character. She's not on my top 10 list. She's not going to be in my top 20 list. But
I really like the way she's written. It's just I understand why a lot of people don't like her because they hurt your fifis by killing Sasha.
Yeah, fair point. The difference for me though, like so again, I think the two of the worst characters. So again, I go back to Falco. The deal with Falco is that he's actually like an adult, you know. So you would actually attribute a higher level of standard to somebody that is an adult compared to
Falco's the kid who inherits the Jaw Titan.
Oh, sorry, not Falco. Flock. Sorry.
Flock. There we go.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Flock's not even an adult. I mean, he's an adult in season 4. When he's in season 3, he's what, 14? 15?
What's the standard of that universe, though?
So
Yeah.
the standard in that universe would be 4 years later after season 3. Aaron is...
They're old enough to join the military. That makes them an adult as far as I care.
Okay, I guess you're right.
Oh, well, then by that standard, then maybe Gabby would be... I don't know.
Well, the difference
Gabby's
the
13.
difference is they're kind of like the warrior candidates are a special exception.
Okay.
In
Okay.
most cases, they would have to be much older to join the military, but because of the nature of the Titans, they start their training young so that they can immediately
Right.
inherit the Titan and still be in their
Because
prime.
they can only be a Titan for 13 years. So
Right.
that makes sense. Rolando is correct as well. Gabby was a way to show how propaganda can fuck up a kid. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, child soldiers, right?
Yep,
Yep.
100%.
Gabby legitimately had no way of knowing better than what she did. And
No,
and she was like one of the only characters to really realize in this story, like there is a lot of stuff wrong with both sides of this. And now that I've seen all of this, I realize that I've done some pretty awful stuff myself.
Well, let's be honest.
She was the
Gabby-
only one to really come to the realization that no one is blameless and that the only way is to just move on and forget the blame.
I was going to say, let's be honest. If
Orphan.
Gabby had shot anybody else and it wasn't one of the main characters, no one would care. It's because she shot Sasha. If she did not shoot Sasha, Connie, Jean,
That from a
No one
writing
cares.
standpoint necessitates her shooting a main character.
right.
Yes.
But if she had just shot like a random person in the plane and then they kicked the shit out of them, like it'd be different. I did laugh though when like Falco was like stop, and then like a foot just hits him in the face, and I was like okay, like. But I was like they're going a little bit too far, beating up kids. Like I can't see the scouts doing this.
Again, the fanatical part of all of the stuff is just
The
it's one of
only-
those things where again with like the Naruto references, the cycle of violence just kind of spirals out of control until you get conflict.
The only
It
one
starts
that
with
I
one
could
thing and then it goes back
possibly-
and forth and back and forth and back and forth until you get a war.
Yeah, the only one that I could possibly see actually getting like physical after that would be Connie, because like Sasha was Connie's crush. That was his girl. I could see Connie actually like losing his shit. Because you know what, like,
Yep.
if a kid shot my fucking girlfriend, like I might lose my shit, and someone had to
Hunt
hold me
child
back.
off bridge.
Like somebody would have to hold me the fuck back. But I understand why he wasn't the one. It was all the crew that actually beat the fuck out of him. I was like, all right, they're going a little bit too far. Like this is not the way that you guys should be acting. And then Aaron laughing. I mean, we also have to talk about the scene where Aaron legitimately tells Mikasa and Armin to go fuck themselves. How I never cared about you. I hate you. Like when they're in the right after he kills Zachary. And I think the whole point of that was to try to make them hate him so that they would kill
Obviously.
him.
Yep.
Because he
Also to make sure that there is a distance between him and them that is justifiable for their so that it isn't like
Yeah.
it isn't brought up like, hey, you were actually like friends with this guy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like, you're friends with Hitler. It's like, no, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, I killed Hitler.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
That's kind of how it goes.
Well,
Project Valkyrie.
Hitler killed Hitler.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Tomato.
Oh god. Yeah.
I had the power of the Founding Titan. I was back there that time. I got Hitler.
Like legitimately though, like I think the one person we haven't talked about, so like the original king, the one that subjugated Ymir, Fritz, that dude was the original, the OG piece of shit, man. Like that.
Yes.
Oh my god, bro.
King Fritz was a piece of fucking shit. He just
Flashback made me hate him.
What he got like 9 children out of her. Is that what it was? It was 9
Get
children.
back in there.
That was the 9 Titans. It was 9 children. He also cut her tongue out.
I thought there were only 3 children.
Oh yeah, 3 children. Yeah, the 3 walls, the names.
Oh, my bad. 3 children, but he cut her tongue out, like she couldn't speak, so that she couldn't like.
She probably
Stockholm
couldn't do
syndrome,
much other things either.
And then she.
But I love him.
Yes, and then she felt she loved him, even though he did all that stuff to her. And yeah, I mean, it's just they don't spend as much time on that in the show. I would have been okay if we got an actual episode that was like a whole flashback of like what went down.
Yeah,
Flashback though made me despise him. I was
King
so
Fritz
mad.
However, you know what? I do fuck with the fact that there's the old King Fritz, or the other King Fritz in the show, and he's just an old guy who's asleep on the chair all the time.
He's senile.
Yeah. Like I kind of think that's funny. How he's just like, oh, you woke me up. Oh, my bad. But yeah, no, the original King Fritz, terrible. Everything he did. I also erasing
without him, Attack on Titan never would have happened.
That's true. We can thank him for that. Well, or hate him for that because of the rumbling, but we can thank him for the story.
For some really cool action sequences with giant people, yes.
That was an awesome shonen.
So
yeah,
I gotta say,
what is this considered? It's not a shonen.
It's
right?
seinen.
It's a seinen, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, if Naruto and Dragon Ball got me into anime, Attack on Titan, and Death Note have made me want to like explore anime outside of shonen. Even though Death Note's a shonen, like just like exploring more like anime, Attack on Titan's really like done that for me. And
we need to bully this man into some really weird shit.
Oh, I was going to suggest something just like solid, but weird works too.
No, I mean like he's starting to step out of the shonen. Now we send him on like Love is War and shit.
I was gonna say Love is War. Love is War is where you gotta go. Love is War is fantastic.
There's a wonderful anime called Interspecies Reviewers that may be up your alley, sir.
Actually, I was gonna watch My Dear Friend. Actually,
My Dear Friend.
My dear friend Noko Tanya. I wouldn't.
Pretty good.
I honestly
Pretty
wouldn't
good.
recommend it because I feel like it kind of falls off after about
Yeah.
the midway point.
Oh
If you
wait,
watch a couple episodes
actually-
at least, though.
actually, I told
Bleach.
a little bit of a white lie. I have seen another anime. I've seen Ghost Stories. That one's fun.
Yeah, I made him watch. I told him to watch Ghost
Good
Stories.
job. That's a great one. Yep.
Run
Yeah.
like there's a big black man chasing you.
No,
You're
but
always retarded, aren't you?
Correct. I had to buy that in a Blu-ray box set because I'm like, no, there's a chance that Crunchyroll could censor this one day, and I'm like, nope. So yeah, 100%.
dude.
Own the physical media of that just in case.
I will say, Roman, for you, Yu Yu Hakusho is right up your alley.
Yeah.
Well, actually, so you say that, but like I'm loving Death Note. So like after Death Note, where would I go from there?
Code Geass.
So if you wanted with Aaron's story, like, do you want one where a person actually works towards the path of redemption?
It doesn't really matter, but I kind of would like that, kind of just like to balance it out, because like I figured that Light Yagami is not going to get a rate, and he's not going to get a redemption either. So
No.
A serious story, okay, that has that one of the greatest redemption stories I've ever read and watched in my entire life would be Vinland Saga. My entire top row, Vinland Saga. Okay, two seasons
I
are
found
out.
out that they have
It's very,
deluxes
very
of
good.
those, so I started
Muffler,
picking up the
keep in
deluxes for
mind-
Vinland Saga.
Keep in mind, Muffler, that this man has not seen Cowboy Bebop, and he's not seen
Well,
Akira.
okay,
Like Akira's a movie, but like
right.
He has just barely wet his toes into the realm of anime.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I feel like you
Golden
like,
popped by Cherry with
Whoa!
Clip it.
Whoa!
Okay, timestamp 3 hours 6 minutes.
Whoa! I didn't pop shit.
That's still not as bad as me saying that you and me made scenes.
I don't know what you're gonna say. I didn't pop nothing.
You popped my anime
I
Cherry.
didn't pop nothing.
He had to appear again.
Nothing, dude. Yeah, I was
Rome,
eating.
this is
I don't
why
get
you need to
any-
shut your mouth. Like that time you said, I don't watch that shit that Crimson watches, like hentai or whatever.
Bro, there's too many.
So
This motherfucker gets me in trouble somehow.
Uh,
The things that I say, I don't get him in trouble, but the things that I say, somehow he gets me clipped.
How do I get you clipped?
That right there, what you just did. that exact thing.
hey man, when you're a dude and you say getting clipped, that's kind of a sketchy thing to say. You got to be careful with that.
Well, we have there's one right here. He's probably already recorded that. Crimson.
dude, I literally have access to the full recording because we're streaming this. Like,
I'm
I have timestamps of shit I'm gonna clip. I'm
What?
hoping I can get it to you guys by Friday.
What?
Dude,
What
I've got a guest coming on Friday that'll love it.
what
Yeah.
is the anime of the girl that has really wide, she has really like wide eyes, and she's like, America ya, America ya. What is that anime called? It has a cat that says, I wish I were a bird. What is that anime?
I wish.
I don't know.
Hold
I
on.
think I know what you're what I
I
know
have
the clips
no
you're
idea
referencing.
what you're talking
Don't
about.
know the anime that you're talking about. But
Yeah.
just to be really quick about this, are we done talking about Attack on Titan? Is there anything else anyone wants to mention before we wrap up? We can talk about some of this stuff backstage.
Aaron's mom is hot. Other
Okay.
than that, no.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna save it.
Attack on Titan is a fantastic show, and anybody who
Yes.
hasn't seen it should watch it.
Yes, highly recommend. If you haven't seen Attack on Titan, you should check it out for yourself. Inform your own conclusions. I'm not here to tell you what to think, just to
Yeah.
give my own thoughts on some things. So, to wrap this up, I mean, if you're here, you found my channel. Congratulations. I'm Crimson Law. Subscribe. I'm trying to hit 2,000 subs this year. And you can also follow me on Twitter, where I mostly scream into the void at everyone else's stupidity, because apparently I'm the smartest person in the room.
He's got a good Twitter. So
Anyone else got stuff to shill? You can go ahead and just shill it right now. Muffler tape, anything you want to plug?
I mean, I'm still working on starting up a channel here pretty soon. Again, just it's going to be like standard live streams with my friends. We're going to be talking about stuff kind of like what you do, man. You know, anime, games, you know, entertainment, all the stuff. It doesn't matter, and you know that's why I kind of got everything around here, you know, prepared for that. But that'll be, you know, another day, and maybe I can tell you more later on. So if you are interested,
Right.
stick around. You know.
hell
Hey,
yeah.
you actually got a plan for a channel, unlike you, Rolo, Roman. You guys got anything you want to shill?
Well, you guys can find my YouTube channel, RG Energy. I try to post weekly. I've been lacking because I've gotten a new job. But I am working really hard to try to build something over there. So if you want to sub, but if not, you don't have to. It's cool. Crimson, thank you for having me. It is a pleasure as always. And Roland, you got nothing to plug, but I'll let you take it out.
I mean, thanks for saying. I do have a couple things to plug. Actually, we will be debuting the new intro for the podcast this Friday, which I created through the help of AI. I also have Ervin's speech turned into a song. I have the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise turned into a song.
Not Darth Roman the Pegged.
No, not Darth Roman the Pegged. And I also have a whole song with Eisen from Bleach, where it's a ton of Eisen quotes that I put together, made that a song. We'll be going over some of those songs on the podcast, as well as I have a good guest that's coming on, a big fan of the show who's never been on the show before. So that'll be nice to have that person on. And who knows how long we'll go. It could be as long as last week, probably not. I think we're going to start around 4:00 and then go from there. But you can also find me over on Rolo_films on Instagram. You can find me at Rolo Lord on X. And there you go.
Oh, right at the end here, Rolando. Y'all should try Undead Unluck. The manga ended, and there is a season 1 for the anime. It's a great story. That's one that I started but never ended up finishing, both manga and anime. And
Y'all have
I'll
to
get around to it eventually. I'm not going to knock it. A lot of people seem to love it. So,
Agreed.
I will say it's very creative with its powers. But as far as RG Energy goes, if anyone listening to this doesn't know where to find the channel, it's in the Friends of the Channel section on my page on my YouTube channel. You'll find a bunch of guys that I stream and make videos with down there. They're in that list. So,
sweet. Thank you.
that said,
Wow.
I appreciate everyone who tuned in. Y'all are fantastic, and I hope you have a good couple of days before I see you next. I'll be doing, hopefully another video and my weekend live stream. So that said,
Give your heart.
I'm gonna hit end stream,
Hearts.
and we're gonna continue and just